And we're live. Hello, everyone. It's 11 p.m. here where I live. And I have been planning this stream for quite a while now. That I think like we had this discussion like a couple of years ago that we should have like a debate kind of stream about Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. And since I have just recently rewatched both of them, I think it's the right time to do this kind of stream. So, with me, I have Eric Wright here from Smutcast and myself also from the Smutcast. And, well, got anything to say, Eric?
No, I'm just kind of anxious.
The dog in you.
I'm anxious and I'm hyped, and unfortunately, I was gonna try to rewatch both shows, but I only watched the first season of both shows.
Yeah,
but I know it like the back of my hand because I've been watching it for how many years now. So
yeah, I've been like noticing that too. That like I was pleasantly surprised on the rewatch that like I haven't like forgotten like the major points of the story, but at the same time it's like so good because I think it's been like 5 or 6 years since I've rewatched like Breaking Bad in its entirety. But I still noticed like a couple of new things in my rewatch, so it's a pretty good experience, honestly.
yeah, for
Like
sure.
that's like telling like when the show is like well crafted that you keep noticing these small details. Yeah. Hello, Legacy. Howdy, Columbo would be able to solve both cases in the Breaking Bad and Saulverse. All he needs to do is ask just one more thing. That is absolutely right. So yeah, wait, I think this is the right UI. So, and just a moment, I gotta hide some things there. Show. Okay, I think that should be fine now. Right, so where should we start? Like, if I would honestly want to get into the middle of this, I'm just gonna like go straight that I think Breaking Bad is a better show. Like, it's way more consistent than Better Call Saul. As in, like, it doesn't need to introduce like entirely new elements just for the sake of for entertainment, because like the main plot isn't interesting enough. Like in Breaking Bad, I felt that Walt's story is like the centerpiece, and that's like driving everything around it to like to how he accomplishes those things, how he's fucking up repeatedly. But with Better Call Saul, I feel like every like season is just introducing like something new, and or just reusing something from Breaking Bad. And like, of course it's the spin-off, but at the same time I just feel like it relies way too many times on references. I don't know like how you see it.
No, I'm of the same camp, and I'm trying to think of there's aspects in Better Call Saul that are better than Breaking Bad that I can at least give it to. But then again, it's like a different show, right? Like,
Yeah.
which I think was a good way for them to handle that, but it does still have to eventually get to the Breaking Bad playground, I guess.
Yeah, title drop. Yeah, I know Breaking Bad through memes such as Breaking Bucky, where Jesse fails to perform CPR and gets called stupid by water because he was stomping the guy to death. Yeah, I have seen those edits as well. Like they are quite good. Like sometimes like they are way better animated than the Grappler Becky or whatever that show's name is. Yeah, those are fun. But yeah, like that's like completely true. What you were saying about that, like it's a different show. Like they were meant to have like different tone as well. I think like the most noticeable one is that like Breaking Bad starts out that like this normal guy, Walter White, decides to like to pursue a career of crime. Meanwhile, like Better Call Saul is the complete opposite. Like, but in a sort of the way in the season one is that like he used to be like, but he wasn't like committing the kind of crimes that Walt is doing in the show. But at the same time, like he's still like he's not innocent. Like he's rehabilitating as a lawyer, but like everything is against him. Like if it was up to his environment, I don't think like Jimmy would have ever pursued the kind of things as he does in the show. If he actually had the support from his family, which is only his brother and like his ex colleagues from Hamlin and McGill, then I think like he would have turned out normal because like he's actually a talented lawyer, just like how Walt is like a talented chemist. But what can you do with that if you have such an ego that like, you just can't restrict yourself at all? Yeah.
Well, that's one of the credit that I can at least give it to is that there is an interesting dynamic if you look at Walt and Saul on the same side of the coin, which is they're really good at being a bad guy.
Yeah.
And it's this weird thing. I don't know what you would call it, a contrast where Walt's the guy who completely changes from the family man to a hardened criminal, whereas it's the question of if Jimmy can even change who he is. It's that nature versus nurture question, which I always like, and that's something I can at least appreciate in Better Call Saul, which is, yeah, can Jimmy really change from Slippin' Jimmy?
Yeah. Well, I felt like he was committed to change that, like, and that's the right word for that, like a contrast between these two. That Jimmy is naturally like someone who could be a criminal, but like in season one at least, like he is so firm on his belief that like he can be like a legitimate lawyer that doesn't need to use those tricks. But at the same time, like the episode one starts that like he reverts back to his Slippin' Jimmy persona just for that like easy money scheme that like he was trying to do with the skateboarding kids. Well, adults, but never mind, the twins. Then he screws himself up, and like now he's has a contact with the cartel.
I will say, like I said, I don't think Better Call Saul is a bad show. Like I think it's a pretty
Absolutely
good show.
not.
Compared to everything.
Great.
But when you compare it to Breaking Bad, however, and if you just have, it's just kind of hard to not look at it without having the knowledge that you have, which is,
Yeah.
I think there are aspects that just are bad. And that second episode of Better Call Saul, I just think is really bad just because it goes on way too long than it needs to.
I can't do it. Yeah, that's when the torture comes with Tuco, right?
Yeah, Tuco and the Salamanca family.
Yeah,
basically.
they introduced Nacho, and then it has the scene breaking legs. Yeah.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. It was a Breaking Bad episode, basically.
It was a Breaking Bad episode, yeah. Like why is like I know that a lot of people hated the first season of Breaking Bad because it was like in tone, it was like so different from the rest of the series, but I kind of liked those first couple of episodes where it was having this black comedy outlook. Yeah. It felt like every actor was taking this as a comedy with like having like a thriller undertone to the series, but it kind of grew out from that. And I think it was for the better.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I understand those criticisms, but I really think season one is just as great as the other. Like, it does a nice job of setting up and just giving you who Walter is as a character.
Oh yeah, he really is. I think like the strength of the Breaking Bad is that like Walt is like way more of a refined character than like more well thought out character than Saul. Like Saul is great. Like the Jimmy McGill character is absolutely amazing. The best thing I would say about Better Call Saul, and it's actually its downfall towards like the middle of the season. Well, I think the middle of the series is that the brother dynamic that they have, like the sibling rivalry he has with Chuck, is just so good that when it's gone, it's just it feels like so hollow. Like to the fact that like they had to introduce like a new villain in the person of Lalo to make it interesting again, because Chuck was just so intelligent. Like he was the kind of guy that like he could always undermine Jimmy because he knew like what Jimmy was up to. And Lalo is like the kind of replacement for that. But
yeah, I think it was a mistake to kill him off that soon. I think he could have stuck around for one more season.
Easily.
And
like,
in a way, I've always thought this. In a way, him committing suicide would be perfect for Jimmy finally getting his license back.
Yes,
in a way, but
season 4 was, I believe, the worst season for Better Call Saul. Like that was just a drag for me.
So we've had conversations before on Discord, but so were you joking when you said that season 4 was better than Breaking Bad season 4?
Season 4 of Better Call Saul was better than Breaking Bad season 4.
Yeah, didn't you say that? Or
I think I said the opposite even back then, but I could be wrong though. I would say like, what season 4 of Breaking Bad? I gotta get my notes. I actually made like 1,000 lines of Breaking Bad notes. Let me see like what was happening in season 4. Season 4 is Walt and Jesse suffer the consequences of their actions against Gus. Walt becomes the underdog. Yeah, honestly, no. I would say the opposite. That Breaking Bad season 4 is perfect, like second to last season. Like I never had the experience with Breaking Bad that it just drags on. And you know, the only episode that I really didn't like from Breaking Bad was the fly one, because it was so pretentious. And the other thing is that like I know that Vince Gilligan really likes the episode because it's artistic and it's trying to convey like so many information, but at the same time I feel like it's just way too much expository dialogue. Like the fact that like the episode that comes right after that, they don't even mention the things that happened there or even reference it, that like, oh, I mistakenly talked about Jane and her dad. Okay. Jesse would have been more upset about that than he is in that episode.
It's kind of like
it's like a dream,
a filler episode. Yeah, like a typical.
It is a filler episode.
I really like it, but I understand that like it is like if you were cooking something and you were just watching that episode in the background, you wouldn't have missed much.
That's the perfect episode. That's the perfect description for the episode. Like honestly, like for one viewing, it is a fine episode, but like on second or like multiple viewings, it just doesn't add anything, and that's why it's kind of like I don't want to watch The Fly again.
I do like the first 15 minutes where they're just trying to kill a fly. I just think that
it's like, but at the same time it's like slapstick comedy.
Yeah, basically
like the kind of situation that they are in. It just it doesn't make sense.
I agree. It doesn't really. It's just like, why is Walt obsessed with a fly? I don't.
Yeah, fly away now.
But it has led to some very entertaining memes of just Walt falling down.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
I can't get enough of that. I don't know how they. I've never looked into the behind the scenes for that one.
I think like the Fly episode was like the cheapest episode to make because they ran out of budget, so they needed like to do something with the funds that they currently had, and this is what they made. And I think that's the Ryan Johnson episode as well.
It is.
He directed The Fly and two episodes from
Ozymandias.
Ozymandias and five something season 5 episode. I think it's the one where they kidnap Lydia.
Really?
Yeah, that's also Ryan Johnson.
Oh, okay. I guess I must have missed that. I only ever see it on, but maybe I wasn't paying attention. I don't know.
Yeah, it's I only found out from the Wikipedia article, but yeah, I would say like it's strong. Like it's Breaking Bad. It feels like they were just like so solidly made. Like they had like a budget, so they had to like think really hard how to implement it. And
You know, to your point, I feel like Better Call Saul did get a little pretentious at times.
it with the budget that they had, or like the kind of things that they could work with because of Breaking Bad introduced them.
I think both.
Yeah. Like how many explosions and those like big cinematic scenes that you can see in Better Call Saul is just way too many to count. Like they absolutely had like the backing that they needed to deliver that season. Like Breaking Bad had to be smart about it. Like there's so many. I thought about it. Like they had like so many wide shots in Better Call Saul, and it looked expensive even for season 1. And I in Breaking Bad they didn't have that luxury. They had like a certain amount of budget, which like is a normal TV show budget, but they had to do like some cheap CGI, especially in season 2, where you have like those foreshadowing scenes about like the plane crash, and then it zooms in and like you see like that cheap like what's that, like a plane smoke effect that you can
with fire. Yeah,
that looked really bad.
It was like somebody
yeah
did it on like what do you call it? Those meme. Yeah.
Yeah, but oh yeah, like you can see it. Like this, even like the effect itself, like it doesn't really blend in with the rest of the things. But
you want to know a fun fact?
Yeah.
I don't know how true this is, but it did happen in real life. There was a plane crash. I'm trying to remember. Hold on, let me search it up. Actually,
sure, go ahead. It did feel like it was based on like a real event, and it in a way it made me like very entertained that Q from Star Trek was suffering because like he was playing the father of Jane. But like he's an incredible actor. Like it really shows like how much talent he has, like that he can play like all these like different roles, because Q was like a comedic character, like he has god powers and such, but he's just a guy, like he's trying to take care of his like ungrateful daughter.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I found it. Hold on. Sorry.
All right.
Let's see. Yeah, I guess around 1986, a DC-9 flying into LA was hit by a small aircraft in restricted airspace, killing 86 people, missed by an air traffic controller who should have seen the small aircraft violating airspace rules and warned both pilots of their presence, but failed to do so. And the name of the air traffic controller is Walter White.
Is that real?
It's real. You can look it up.
Okay.
I don't think Vince had any idea, but I just love the memes of like Vince orchestrated this and he created a plane crash so that Breaking Bad could reference it.
Yeah, that is beautiful. But like he has like these wild ideas though. like how deep he goes with these plans that he has for the show. I do you know like maybe the craziest thing about like the Better Call Saul, like why I think like it's like a bit inferior towards like Breaking Bad, like because like I don't like I don't think I Saul is a bad show at all. I just think like it's slightly worse than Breaking Bad, but so the fact that like after season 3 he couldn't work on Better Call Saul, and like he only returned for the final few episodes.
Yeah, I've always wondered about that.
Yeah, and it does feel like it. Like it feels like someone else is in charge. But I do like how John Delancey is having like this gamer moment here.
He's resisting the urge to say some racial slurs right now.
Yeah, it's like that a Trump meme with the Junior. Like Trump is doxing him. Niagara or Lane, is that where you live? Oh
No.
no.
That's a funny meme. I can't remember it, but
The impressions is just so good. Like it was just before like the AI apocalypse, so like, they were genuinely like talented guys. Yeah. In that plane crashes, Gus will become the 6 million peso man. Okay. Right. I was not expecting something like that. Yeah.
Oh, I just saw all the comments. Oh, they're all over here. Okay.
Yeah. You can have like a quick glance at it from this menu.
Breaking Blacks.
Yeah, so back to Better Call Saul. Like I think the strong point of the Better Call Saul is that like it's doing the law thing believably. Like I'm not no lawyer, like surprise, but the way that like they are explaining those things, it feels like they have done their homework. So like how they present them is quite entertaining, and the loopholes that Jimmy finds are just hilarious, and like you keep like thinking that like okay, but what if like he just like used this as a legitimate business practice instead of just relying on these stupid schemes that might not work out, and in fact like it might be his underdoing in the future.
Some of the schemes are just, I think in the final season of Better Call Saul, some of the schemes are just like, if you get caught, I mean, you're done.
Yes.
This is like over the top almost. Just
yeah.
The schemes and all the plans and whatnot.
Yeah, like I think like just gonna have a quick glance at my notes. I think like I wrote down some of my favorites. Well, of course, like the prison visit at the first season was just hilarious, and like I think like my favorite part about Better Call Saul is that it's actually like it's trying to be like Saul Goodman and Mike Ehrmantraut, because Mike is actually supposed to be just Saul Goodman when he came to the series, but like Bob Odenkirk had like something else to do that day, so he couldn't show up. So like they invited this actor to play Mike,
Jonathan Banks.
Yeah, Jonathan Banks. Yeah, and that's how the character was created. So I feel like that's why it's like divided like the scene time between the two. Like that's why they have like so much screen time together. That because it is one character in a way. Like that's how it started out. But at the same time, like he has just as much presence.
Which is funny because Mike has to slap Jesse so that he can get back into reality. And
yeah,
if you think about it, if that was supposed to be Saul was going to slap him. Really?
That is just so out of character for him to do. Because before that, I think like in season 2 of Breaking Bad, like he even suggests to Walt that like just forget about Skyler, because like that's when they have the divorce. Like that's when Walter has to go to like a new place to live. because like
Yeah.
he doesn't want the husband to be there anymore because like she figured out that he's a drug dealer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like kind of conundrum that they're in, but it just works out. Like I also noticed that like Hank has like a much more like comedic tone in the first two seasons, and then the Tuco Salamanca scene happens, and then he has these PTSD moments, and then like it feels like Dean Norris is finally taking his role seriously. Because other than that, like his character up to that point has been like saying like racial slurs, like calling Mexicans beaners. That was so good.
Oh, that was the first episode. Yeah, he was like, I
Yeah,
bet you $10 he's a half beaner or
half beaner, or that like he's speaking Spanish instead. He's saying like, "Oh, that's bean speech."
oh yeah.
Yeah. Or when he goes to El Paso, he he sees through like the shit that like they are shit talking him in Spanish, so he just like says like, "Oh, why is he talking about Sun Tzu?" All that.
Yeah, the I forget what the guy was, but yeah, he's like, "Hey, Sente, no DEA, por favor," or some shit.
No die por favor. Yeah, I think I have it. Yeah.
Well, even Jesse was like kind of a comedic character before.
He was. He really was. Like the fight scene from season 1 of Breaking Bad.
The fucking kicking on the toilet. It's
They're
just
kicking on the toilet.
footsies, basically.
Toilet fight scene. Yeah, this was like this is when I knew that this is a good show.
Just
or,
kicking.
or like a scene where Walt is lighting a cigarette with a gas stove. Well, no, weed. Yeah, this one. Yeah, this is a good show, but like I liked how he's every episode he slightly gets worse. Like every episode he's like Walt is getting more and more away from his humanity, because like at that in season 1 he's still like hesitant to kill Crazy 8, even though
Right.
like he knows that like he's fucked up because he knows his name, he knows everything. He's gonna like use that against him.
It is one of my favorite moments because, like, he really is just a normal guy, as you put it.
Yeah.
Where he actually had to get a notebook, list out all of the reasons on if he should kill him or if he should not. He comes up with like 5 or 6 different reasons for why he shouldn't kill him.
Yeah.
You know, Judeo-Christian principles, PTSD, guilt, and all this stuff. And he can only come up with one reason to kill that guy. He might hurt his family. And
Yeah.
I don't know. It's pretty sad in a way because he just has to do what he has to do. And
Yeah. There's no other way.
unfortunately, he connected with the guy, and that was a bad idea.
It was a really bad idea.
And just to get back to Saul, it's like I know that they want him to be the guy who can't change his nature and whatnot, but they're also trying to do the Breaking Bad thing again, where he kind of descends into hell.
Yeah, it feels more like in Breaking Bad, like Walt had like several chances to rely on others, but like he decided that like, okay, I'm not gonna take any charity. I'm gonna do this myself because I have an ego. But in Better Call Saul, like Jimmy has like no other way. Like the entire world is against him. Like he already has like he doesn't have a clean record. Like they know that like he used to have like a criminal past. So everyone, even like the family that like they screw over in the first season, they call him like a criminal lawyer, and like he does have that look and like his eyes are like that. But It's like at the same time, like he is a normal guy. Like he's just a public defender at that point. But like, what can he do? He doesn't have like anything else to do because his brother isn't supportive. In fact, like he's taking care of him alone. But like he does have like this genuine like warm and like he does care about his brother, but it's just like his brother is also like a sick man. And not just like that fake illness that like he thought up, but like the simple fact that like he's just he has issues. He has really big issues with Jimmy.
That was something I wish they explored before they killed him. I don't think they explored it enough. I don't think it really
didn't, and it's just such a missed opportunity.
I mean, I like the idea, this guy who's all noble and mighty, and he's allergic to power, and I think there's a theme they're playing with that. But I'm just like, but that had to come from somewhere, and I understand that there's this whole weird what's jealousy, I guess.
Jealousy, yeah, it is jealousy,
and that may have caused it, but I don't know. I don't think they've really explored all that. Really,
no, they could have done like more on like why is it that like people just like Jimmy more. And I think like they had that one episode, I can't remember which season, but it's where Rebecca is in the flashback, and like Chuck is like trying to like give a hint that like, okay, if Jimmy is getting way too annoying, then we're gonna do this to our ears, and we're gonna like tell him to go home.
I think that was
get rid of him.
3.
Yeah, that was just like done like too poorly. It was just like Chuck trying way too hard to be funny, but like he just doesn't get it. And it's really funny because like the actor who plays Chuck is like a really good comedic actor. So the fact that like he's one of the most unfunniest guys when he's trying to be like entertaining is hilarious in itself. But like every time like he's just has the place like a space blanket on him is just comedic gold.
Conspiracy theorists, yeah.
Yeah, or the fall in the printer shop. That is just wild. Like I have rewatched this scene so many times. Like it's done so well. And I did check out like behind the scenes footage. Like they explain like how the printer shop scene where Michael McKean, I think that's the actor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he falls down, and like they do say that like it does look way painful than it actually is, because like it's like a bedded like cushion that he falls
I imagine it was. Yeah
it was. But I think like Michael McKean was already like 70 at that time, so
is he?
Props to him that like he was still willing to do that scene. Yeah.
Well, I mean, sometimes to entertain the people, you got to kill an actor or two.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Baldwin is very familiar with that.
Oh, but I think he has the right idea about that. Or like how the bullet ricochets off from certain places. Whether he wants
I'm just joking, but
we have no proof, of course.
But no, that's interesting. I didn't know that. I do want to look at BTS on Better Call Saul, but I don't know. It's just having the time, I guess.
There's a great channel on YouTube. I can't remember the name, but basically like it bombarded me with like behind the scenes footage, like YouTube shorts. Basically like they are less than a minute long, and it's really cool because like you can like search for a moment or like just episode and season code, and it's gonna like give you like a moment where like the main actor of that episode is gonna like talk about along with Vince. It's just like because both of these shows are like they have comedic moments, but like they are played seriously. That like you need to you need to take it that like this isn't a joke. Like everyone is taking this so seriously, but at the same time, like they are laughing all the time. That like, oh, look at all the blood. That looks so awesome. Especially the twins. Like they had like the time of their life.
Oh, I'm sure they did.
Yeah, really good stuff. So I think like we were around like season 2, 3, maybe. Yeah, like we were all going all over the place. Uh, so yeah, I do feel like Chuck and Jimmy sibling rivalry is like the cream of the crop for Better Call Saul. I feel like that's like the core element to Jimmy as well. Because how the show made it out to be is that like if Chuck wasn't like a complete piece of shit with him, like saying psychotic things that like I never cared about you, then he would have been fine. That was like the driving force behind him. Like he was always resentful and such.
Well, let's see. That's always the interesting question because you also have those moments where Jimmy does get hired by that one law firm,
Yeah, the Davison, Maine.
Davison, man. Thank you.
Yeah,
But he has to play it by the book,
yeah,
and he kind of starts bending the rules because he thinks the ends justify the means, essentially.
yeah. But he oh yeah, because of that one videotape, like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which I never understood, but I talked to some other people, and I wish they would have presented the others. What's that guy's name? Davis, or is it?
Maine, the old guy, like the tall,
Cliff
tall
Main.
old
Yeah,
guy. Yeah, Cliff Maine. Yeah,
yeah. I wish they would have presented Cliff Main's point of view so that I could understand.
yeah. That
Jimmy
that
did
was
so
way
much.
too rushed. Like they had to think of like a one way to screw him up.
Which
But like,
is the funniest montage they have of just Jimmy trying to get fired.
yeah, it is.
Just all these different suits, and he doesn't flush the toilet. He
Yeah,
destroys a suit because he has the vegetable juicer.
yeah. And
Bagpipes. I mean,
bagpipe. I think that the bagpipe was the last straw.
well, it has to be. I mean, come on.
Yeah, and the fact that like the Mercedes couldn't like have that coffee cup in it because it was metric. But yeah, he does get a chance to start new, but at the same time, like it's not for him. And
Right.
the fact that like he does present it like wrongly, that like he didn't ask his superior to allow him to show that commercial, but at the same time, like it was successful. He was right, like he was vindicated in my opinion. It's just the fact that okay, like he didn't make like a decision like that without the counsel of the rest of the company. That was like the main problem. It's just such a bad
Well,
excuse for like
there's, I don't know if they couldn't be, they were trying to justify Saul, but from what I've heard from other people, it's more of like, it can be argued as deception,
it
right?
is. Yes, yeah.
And that was the problem, but they never really say that or explain that in the show.
Yeah, they don't.
And that's a shame because that could have used it, but
Yeah, it's such a shame. What do you think about Marco, by the way? He only appeared for like 2 episodes.
so that's another problem I have with the show, which is I feel like there's too many missed opportunities. Marco is one of them. I think it's interesting.
Should have been like in way more episodes.
Well, the same episode that you really get to understand who he is the same episode he dies from like a
Yes.
random heart attack, and it's just like it's supposed to influence Jimmy to become Saul in a way because he's like, oh, I'm gonna do it my way now or something at the end of season 1. It's like I don't know. I feel like it's too easy. Of course, he doesn't rush in to be Saul. We're still building up to that, but
yeah,
I just don't know how I'm supposed to feel about Marco overall. I mean, I like their chemistry. Like that was a fun montage.
Yeah, it like that was like no, I wouldn't say worse, but like it was really bothering me that like they had such a good chemistry, and like I would have wanted to watch more schemes between the two
Mm-hmm.
because it's played so well. Like it's so entertaining to watch, like how they can scam people around Chicago like that. Oh, was it like Cicero?
Yeah, Cicero.
Cicero, yeah. But that's like almost next to Chicago, as far as I know. But yeah, it's such a shame, and the fact that like it has a heel turn on the beginning of season 2 because he does take the job. It's all because that Kim convinces him that like that's what she wants.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was like also like a contrast between these two shows, that like Kim is like way more supportive of these questionable methods, while Skylar is like someone that gets bashed online for a lot of things, and like for in a way that I can agree that like okay, like there are like a lot of things that like she didn't do too well,
No,
but
they're
said that like she does like try to obey the law as far as she can.
they're partners in crime. That's what's funny about it. And then
Yeah,
Lone
Better
Skyler,
Saul.
it takes a while,
Yeah.
and even she's still not comfortable with it, really.
No, she's never comfortable with it. But Kim is like fully on it. Like, okay, how can we destroy this man's life?
It's only a temporary setback. Cut
Yeah.
to he gets shot in the fucking head.
Yes. Oh,
Oh boy.
what are you talking about? Oh, nothing. I'm not even here.
There's
Yeah.
another I don't know if you want to segue into another point, but
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
um we haven't talked about Mike or any of that stuff now. And I feel like that's another issue that I have with this show. At the like I said, it's not a bad show, but it is one of those aspects that I'm like, when I watch Better Call Saul, it feels like I'm watching two different shows.
It it feels like I'm watching 4 different shows. I would say that. I'm watching Better Call Nacho, Better Call Finger, Better Call Jimmy. But
The kid named Finger, what?
I liked it with like in season 1, episode 3. Like they get confrontational. Like Jimmy gets confrontational with Mike, and it then like he says it was just a finger, and then like the camera points at Mike.
I've noticed that. That was so funny.
Yeah.
He's a troll or a troll.
He's a troll.
Yeah, Mike's trolling.
Yeah, he is really good. Like I mean, like I do like him, like every scene that he's in. But at the same time, I feel like it's like, couldn't they have called the show something else then? Like the lawyer guy from Breaking Bad, and the cartel, and this guy that the cartel works for.
Well, it makes sense. The problem is they don't the title can make sense, right?
Yeah.
All these criminals and all this nonsense, they better call Saul, right? But it's not really that show.
He's not like Saul himself doesn't like really drive the story to forward like in like many
Yeah.
times, and that was my issue. Like when we are at the point of like season 4 or 5, I believe, and Lalo shows up, and at the end of 4, yeah, and like Saul doesn't like he's just doing his own thing. Like he's like scamming people with the phone. He has Huel to sell more of those things, and then he finally gets his law practice back. But meanwhile, like it's like real, like between like Gus and Lalo and the Salamancas, really, that like they are like moving the story forward, and like Saul is just like chilling in like some stupid shop, like doing
the
his
cell phone store. Yeah.
the cell phone store. And like, because like, oh yes, we have seen that he has a lot of phones, and he like flip phones. And where did he get that? What's the story behind this? We gotta see all of this. Like, no.
Oh, that was annoying. There'd be
No,
times where it's like, oh, we better explain this. It's like, yeah, that's not as interesting as I thought it was gonna be. Like, I don't care.
yeah, it's no.
I think that's what I really think season 4 is the worst out of all the seasons. And
Yeah,
it's just what you said. It's that it's character it's more plot driven before it's character driven in a
yeah.
way.
And in Breaking Bad, it's like Walt and Jesse are like the core elements that like pulling the story forward. Everything else is just like supplementary for those two.
I mean, you can even argue Walt's affecting everyone, right? Because
It does. Like he's everywhere. Like he's manipulating Jesse into doing things for crying out loud.
it all comes down to the blue meth that he makes, and everyone's wanting it, and Gus doesn't trust him, and all this stuff going on. It's all because of Walt.
Yeah, like Saul is great, but like he doesn't have the kind of influence like Walter does.
Well, that was my annoyance. He's not even a fucking lawyer. So what is he supposed to do for a whole season?
Yes, that was bad, and the fact that like he's like so hard-headed to not understand like, okay, I didn't get my law practice back because I didn't feel compassionate about my brother's passing. And it's like you are the lawyer, like you can't be this dumb. Like
I,
you actually have to be the intelligent character, remember?
yeah, I don't know. I've never really been sold on. Okay, the what is it? The end game, I guess, if you will.
Yeah,
It's gonna be, can Saul Goodman get his license to practice law again?
yeah.
It's literally the last episode, and it's I'm just wow, that's so like I'm on the edge of my seat, guys. Bravo, Vince.
Yeah,
I guess he
yeah.
wasn't in here. Bravo, Peter Gold.
Pure gold, yeah. The guy who invented Saul Goodman himself, yeah. I skipped so many scenes in season 4 because it just I felt like I could do so many better things. I could like scrub the toilet clean while this was on in the background. And like my life would improve, but like season 4 is just bad. Like it needs to be erased. Like you open season 4 and it just ends with like, okay, I'm Saul Goodman now.
And I
It's
don't
all
want to
good,
get
man.
like people can like what they like, that's fine, but I just don't see how people can say Better Call Saul is better than Breaking Bad just on season 4 alone. And
Yeah,
when everyone from that likes the show says Better Call Saul has pacing issues, I'm just like, how can we say it's better than Breaking Bad if everyone can agree, both people that liked it and both people that didn't like it, it has really bad pacing issues.
it does. It's serious pacing issues. Like in Breaking Bad, it just doesn't like have these dragging moments. Like I can't
You
like
can
really.
you can say season 2 dragged, sure,
It
but
does, like when it's like back, like the part in season 4 where RV fight when they are in the RV and like they are like having like a fallout again. Yeah, I think this perfectly describes it. Like when Jesse is on his last. Like, he is really pushed to his limits.
mm-hmm.
Like he has like everything against him. The DA finds his scar, so they know that like he was probably involved in a way, but like
Yeah.
they can't prove it. He lost all his money, and Walt is just a complete asshole. I think like that's like season 2 is when you start to understand like, okay, like Walt doesn't care about Jesse. Like these things can happen around him, but at the same time, like he's only doing this for himself. Like he's every question he has where it's like could be taken that he's compassionate. It's all centered around that, like, oh, what can I gain from this moment? And it gets worse. I think like he almost had a change of heart in towards the end of season 2 when Jane dies, but then he just like slips back to his Heisenberg persona, which I believe is kind of like what Batman has with Bruce Wayne. Is that Bruce Wayne is like an act, but Batman is like the real personality, and I feel like for Walter White, Heisenberg is his true personality because that's when he's like the most natural. Like this chemistry teacher, family man thing is just something that like he just like cooked up. It's just like it's like kind of like a shell, so people could treat him normally. But he like it's kind of like in the shadows of like why he had the fallout with Grey Matter. Is like something that I would have wished that like Breaking Bad would explore a bit more. Other than that, Gretchen mentions that Walt walked out from their wedding that they supposed to almost have.
They had a
I
wedding?
never understood. Yeah. There's like a small scene. Let me get my notes. In season 2, when Skylar calls up Gretchen and they talked about that, like, okay, like where is the money coming from? I appreciate like that you have given us so much donation so Walt can get his treatment, because at that point like Skylar still believes that like they are getting that from Gretchen and Elliot, but Walt just can't hide this, and like he decides to have that meeting with Gretchen, and then there's like a mention that like they had like a 4th of July like event, and
4th of July or
Walt
something.
just walked out from there, and like they didn't even get like where is he going. Like I guess like they had like a fallout from like falling out from that friend group, but
Well, no, I knew that. I'm just wondering, like, did they say they were married at one point, or?
they were about to be. Like there's like definitely a hint in season 1 that Gretchen and Walt were more involved at some point. Soviet Hawk, is Walter White white man monster or both? I would say monster.
Yeah, no, I mean, season 5, he just becomes a complete asshole. I mean,
Yes, like that is like when you have created such a monster that you need to get Nazis in the show. So it can have like, okay, like, but I may be killing kids and cooking meth and destroying lives, but at least I'm not a Nazi. I mean, really, couldn't you have come up with something else better than that? But like, it still worked out fine. Like it's like
well, they are neo Nazis. I mean, maybe it's
they
not
are neo Nazis.
not as bad as Nazis.
Yeah, that would have been killers. Like they have time travel Nazis, like Hitler, literally. Like, but it's kind of funny because like it's built up that like Jesse was like having those jokes that like, well, Heil Hitler, bitch. And like, the end is that like they actually have to deal with neo Nazis. Well, Vince Gilligan thought of all of these things.
Well, he did. I mean, it's like you could really see the intentions, like from beginning to end. He really wanted to drive home the point that this is a man who, quote unquote, breaks bad. Like it's what he talks about every time, which is he wanted to turn Mr. Chips and turn him into Scarface.
Yeah. And they even watch Scarface, like him and Walt Jr.
Say hello to my little friend.
Oh, this is the best scene. You gotta see this.
It's paying off what they set up.
Yeah, and like Skylar is like watching with terror on her face that like, oh
She
my god,
she realized her
this is
husband
gonna
was
be my
based.
life. Yeah,
Her husband's based and red pilled.
yeah. Those things were so good. Like it showcases that like Walt doesn't care anymore. Like he's gonna have his will, no matter if you want it or not. He's gonna get what he wants, and he's gonna use force if necessary. I think like veggie bacon. This is what starts Walt on his journey to Breaking Bad.
Well, yeah, when you can't afford real bacon, you
Yeah,
got to break bad.
gotta break bread.
All I'm saying. Come on, even Walter Jr. said it tastes like Band-Aids. All right.
Yeah, they do. I think like it's just carrots, honestly, like veggie bacon. So it's terrible.
Veggie
How can you do something like that? It has to be like a sin, like a moral sin.
That's why everybody hates Skylar.
Yeah, but at the same time, like it's like understandable, like her behavior, like the kind of like secrecy that Walt does
No,
call like a reaction like that.
no, I do think the hate for her is a little overboard, but
It is, yeah.
it's
But like
I
she still
understand
likes
it
to show them.
somewhat. Well, the problem is that it's from Walt's perspective, so it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, she's the antagonist in a way, but I don't know.
Honestly, on my rewatch, I was like considering like okay, like Walter White is the antagonist here. Everyone else are much better than Walter White. Like except for like the last couple of episodes where he's like trying to have like a Red Dead Redemption moment, but uh, uh, let's say like it turned out well, but like in his heart, like he tried to do at least like do something good for Jesse, but that was just completely random because like he was so shocked like how they treated him like a slave.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, the way I've always read it was like he was gonna kill everybody, even Jesse.
Yeah, he was ready to do that.
And then he saw him and was like, "Oh shit!"
I gotta save this stupid bastard. Jesse, it's not time for you to die.
Well, hi, Heather, bitch. Huh?
And then everyone else is just laughing and then dying. Yeah. I never had that feeling with Better Call Saul. Like I feel like the finale when that it's just between like Gus and Lalo. It's like okay, like all you did is that like you sent Kim and you scared the hell out of both of them by killing like Howard. Is just like kind of like forced in. Like okay, like I see that you have this like it's kind of like Lalo like entered like a different TV show. like he's like walked into a different set and like he actually had like a charged weapon with him and then he said like okay like I'm bored, you're just gonna do what I'm telling you. It felt like it's stupid. Like Nacho is also like a good character but like, I feel like they have done him dirty. Like at the like towards the end it felt like okay like how we can torture this poor guy again.
I love that actor Michael Mandel.
He is so good. I really like him from video games. Far Cry 3. I think
Yeah.
that was the first time. Yeah.
He's great. And I was like, oh, they could actually do something with that. And he has moments, but I don't really understand his character really.
Yeah. He could have avoided the whole thing if he was actually listening to Mike, but no. That's why you're right. Like this show should have been called Better Call Mike or Finger. Like he is the answer man. Like
Well,
he is the guy that like can answer every single question or issue that you have.
He's been doing it for a long time, you know. I mean, he is the wise old mentor. But no, with Nacho, it was always my issue was just like I just need to understand what his motivation is. Like what is his ultimate like what's his purpose? And
Yeah.
if he didn't have a purpose, why? And I feel like the show never answers that. Like he's estranged from his father. He I don't know, like how did he even get mixed up with the Salamancas? They don't really explain that.
Yeah, they never do that.
He seems like he's terrified of them, and he wants out, but then he's still working with them.
Yeah.
Um,
How I understood is that like he was like so close to Tuco that like he couldn't like quit.
right.
But it doesn't make sense because like he's just so the polar opposite of all of these things, and he also has that side hustle as well with the
Yeah,
with Danny.
yeah, with Lester from GTA,
Yes.
and then the kid named Finger had to fight Trevor.
Yeah. That was hilarious. Like how many like cameos there is in this
Yeah,
in the game, the show.
show like this. Yeah, I just, but it's one of those things where I don't, and people will try to compare him to Jesse, even when I'm like,
No,
how?
completely different.
Jesse was kind of an idiot, and he
Yeah.
sort of wised up towards the end, whereas Nacho seems like he has a good head on his shoulders. I just don't know why he's in this gang.
Feel like he's just way too deep in the game. That's why, and like but like at the same time, like he should have known better to not do this. And like he even pulled in like Crazy Eight to the game, and like he's just like a family friend, or like maybe like he's related to him. I believe he's definitely
Is he?
friends with the family that he belongs to.
Right. Yeah. But I don't know. But then it feels like it's a bit of a contradiction, and maybe I'm just not sure enough. But like you see his father, and it's like,
Yeah, he looks like Mario.
what?
I think like there's that like a final scene where like his father is like like deep in the night, and he's like still next to the sewing machine, and like he's just has this blanking expression, and like I feel I had the idea that like if someone would draw like a Mario hat on him, I would buy it. But, like this is some fat Italian guy from Boston.
It's me, Mario.
It's a me, Cartel.
Nacho,
Not
Nacho.
but yeah, like it was really touching when the father was to keep trying to like pursue Nacho, that like just give up this life. He just doesn't listen.
Well, I understand towards season 4 and like Gus finally has his hands on him. Great. Now I'm gonna be thinking that every time I watch it.
Yeah, right. But you go on.
It's just those early seasons. I'm just like I'm supposed to be like I want to like he even has an episode titled Nacho, right?
Yeah,
It's not about him. It's about that Jimmy has to go find those two idiots, the Kettlemans, or where they
the
hid the money
Kelmans. Yes.
to get Nacho out of jail. It's like, oh, okay. Not that it has to, but it's just one of those moments looking back in retrospect, and it's just I never have a clear understanding of how Nacho came to be and that sudden change of he becomes a sympathetic character because now he's in too deep and his father is in danger now and he has to get out now before his father. I don't know.
Yeah, it got so confusing by the end.
Um,
But I did like how Nacho's father is probably like the most honest and innocent man in this show. Like everyone else has like something that they do in the background. Even Howard has like this hatred towards Jimmy because of the resentment from Chuck. But Nacho's dad is like one of the most honest people in the show. So it's like it is a tragedy that like what happens to him, but it's also like it's like Nacho is overshadowed by all the other things that happen. but like sometimes they drag him out to be like the main character of an episode. But he needs to like make sure that like Lalo trusts him, or
Yeah.
else Gus like offs the dead.
I do like the idea. I just wish it was
Yeah.
executed differently, maybe. And I do like that scene with Mike and Manuel, I guess his name is.
Yeah, Philip.
That was a good scene. I think
It was really good.
I feel like it should have encapsulated Nacho's character in the show altogether, but I just never get that feeling.
I do like that. Like we could finally see like more acting from Michael Mando, because I feel like this guy is like kind of underrated, other than like this show.
I do feel like that. Yeah.
Yeah, like, it could definitely do more like big titles.
But I feel like he's one of those type of actors that doesn't want to get typecast.
He doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah. So, because he could have easily done another Far Cry, perhaps. But
yes.
He never. He never does. And when he came back, it was like, oh, he's just kind of cameo.
Yeah. He's only here for the cameo.
It's like, all right, whatever.
But Tuco was too crazy, so it would make sense to add more crazy to it. But yeah, where were we with this discussion? So yeah, I'm gonna look at my notes again.
Sure.
Finds out.
Or do you want to talk about Gus?
Gus. Okay, so Gus, like I did read up on what's his name?
Giancarlo Esposito.
Giancarlo Esposito. Yeah. So that like I was shocked at like how much of a financial like problems he had, but before he got cast as Gus.
Oh my
like,
god! Really?
Did you hear about the story that like he was actually planning to commit suicide, so like his children could get money?
Yikes!
Yeah,
really?
that kind of thing. But like then like shortly before that, after that, he got cast as Gus, so he could he turned it into like a very successful role. And in fact, like he even like gave suggestions to Vince Gilligan to like how his character should be in Breaking Bad season 3, because like in season 2 we get like a picture of that Gus is like this like controlling this cartel business from the US side, but at the same time like you don't really see like a sinister side to him. We only see that from season 4 where he really shows his true colors. But yeah, I think it really worked out. But in Better Call Saul, he like first of all, but this goes for all the actors. It's very noticeable that like 10 years have passed, but they are playing like younger versions of their characters, so it's a kind of strange. But I liked how they didn't give a shit and they didn't use like 100 special effects to hide that kind of like wrinkle and like old things that they have.
It's just mostly like makeup, I think.
It's makeup, yeah, but like they didn't go overboard with that.
I think the worst is like Aaron Paul, because it's like he's not a kid anymore. He's like a fucking old man at this point.
Yeah, like the other thing is that like he had like extreme balding. Because like this is season 2, the beginning of season 2, because so 2007 or 8, but like Aaron Paul like looks like this for the most part,
wrinkles and everything, and
wrinkles, receding hair.
Mike even calls him a teenage retiree, and I'm like, he's like 41 or something.
Yes,
he's not a teenage.
No.
But yeah, back to Gus, you were saying.
Yeah, let's get the image up. Yeah, so Gus, I do like how he's present at the beginning of Better Call Saul, but how Mike is slowly putting together like the pieces that like, oh, this is the guy. I need to track him down so I can like understand like what is going on with this business with the Salamancas and like what is his goal in this whole debacle. But it, I felt like his plot was way too forced in. Like the fact, like we need to learn about that conglomerate, like the parent company of Los Pollos Hermanos. Is I feel like it's forced in the whole thing. Like I didn't like the German episodes.
Oh, really? With what was it?
Ziegler.
Ziegler.
Yeah, that was like okay. They suddenly forgot about checking the cameras for a solid 5 minutes.
But Mark, do you not see Warner Ziegler, Walter
Warner
White,
Ziegler.
Heisenberg, German
Heisenberg.
scientist Werner
German
Heisenberg?
scientist. So wait! You're telling me that Ziegler was a Nazi as well? Like he
Yes.
was actually a Nazi.
Well, he's Walt's secret brother,
oh man,
who's also a Nazi. So
yes, but it didn't do it for me. And, like the fact that like they had like he was leaking information and they just like had a slap on the wrist for the Werner Ziegler character. It already felt like kind of fishy that like okay, like Gus doesn't care about something like that. Or I think like he had a line about that they killed those two, but I'm not sure if like that's what Mike intended to say.
which two?
So Werner Ziegler was talking to two random guys, like American like engineers, in that pub that they took the whole team to, so they could like be outside for a little while. It was next to like the stripper club.
Yeah.
And the point was that like Werner Ziegler was like sharing like sensitive information about the project itself. That like, oh, we have this problem that like we have this wall, and we don't have like the explosives right or something like very, very technical details. And it just didn't seem right to me that like he was sharing to the point that he was drawing the whole thing down on like the kind of like beer, the thing that you put below the glass of beer. I don't have the word for it.
Shot?
Right now. It's shot, yeah.
Shot
So
glass?
yeah, try that thing. And like Mike got it and then like talked about it like, oh yeah, they probably forgot about this weird German man in New Mexico talking about digging a tunnel. And I felt like it was like slightly suggested that those two guys, the two American random engineers that were in the pub, they got killed by Gus. So nobody can have information that they are actually doing something fishy in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Now it's been a while since I watched it, but I don't think that happened. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm trying to remember if there was like some subtle hint. I don't think there
Yeah.
was. I think they were just like, you can't let this shit happen again.
Yeah.
What's a shame is that all that stuff I want to like, especially the Warner Heisenberg foreshadowing, I guess. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's rushed. I think it's a little sloppy. I don't think it has the impact that it wants it to have.
Definitely doesn't.
I don't think they concluded in a way that's satisfying.
Yeah.
Mike just temporarily gets drunk and then he's like, Gus is like, I need a soldier, and Mike's like, okay. That's all it is.
That's all there is to it. Like, I'm gonna take you to this Mexican village where there's a bunch of goats, so you can do carpentry for the local abuelitas.
That's I remember that was my huge issue back in the day, and I was like, I had to rewatch it, pay attention, make sure that like I got every detail so that nobody calls me a fucking moron, apparently. And I'm just like, there's nothing in between. I don't even know how Gus even knows that Nacho poisoned Hector, or switch up the
All
code.
all it was is that like he noticed that like Nacho was going towards like the pills. Like he knows that, and that's it. That supposedly gives away that Nacho was behind it.
He didn't even look at him though. He was so preoccupied with Hector, and then when he's taken into the
Oh,
ambulance,
but he was picking it up way after those things happen. That's when he gets the idea.
yeah, well, he looks at him. He gives him a look.
Yeah,
He's like, weird.
yeah,
And then he has Victor follow him, and he sees him with binoculars, like dropping something.
yeah,
Maybe I don't know if he could see it was pills, but let's just say it is.
yeah,
Then he asks for Hector's medical file,
yeah.
and we don't get to know. He just looks at it.
We never get to know. Yeah,
And then at the end of that episode, or maybe it was the next episode after, he kills that weird guy with the ugly ass ponytail.
yeah. That guy. I was like thinking that like, wait, is he gonna like come back in Breaking Bad? Because like he looked familiar to me from somewhere. But at the same time, I'm like, I think like he's gonna like die, and then like, next episode, Gus strangles him.
I was hoping he died because that ponytail annoyed me. I was like, someone needs to cut it off.
It looked terrible. Like he had to have a haircut between Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul.
No offense, guy, but come on.
Yeah, especially on a Mexican. Come on.
It just doesn't work. I don't know.
I think it was like the start, like when I was feeling like they were just like trying to humiliate Nacho way too much in a way that like they had to like fake them being shot at. But yeah, I think like like in season 4, because this is still season 4. I think like the best part of season 4 is when they're trying to save Huel, and they are like doing this like elaborate scheme with the college kids.
That was funny.
When like they are like doing those calls and the impressions. That was funny. That was really entertaining, like as a whole concept. And the best part about it is that like it's really just 2 sets that they had. Like they had like the police department for those like other attorneys, and then they had like Jimmy in his like shitty place next to the Vietnamese like nail salon.
Yeah.
So like that was hilarious. Like that was how the show should have been.
Because they forgot what it was. Season 4.
Yeah, I literally forgot about that Jimmy is still in the show.
And a show called Better Call Saul.
Better Call Saul. Back to Cartel. Like,
yeah,
this was my expression the whole time.
And this gets into another issue of mine whenever we talk about Breaking Bad versus Better Call Saul, which is, and I know it's kind of hyperbolic and maybe it's a hypothetical.
Yeah,
but it's like Breaking Bad. You can watch that standalone.
Absolutely.
Can you watch Better Call Saul standalone?
No, it wouldn't make sense. Like when you see like the way that they're showing characters like Gus, Mike, they are all like they're trying to like frame it in a way that like, well, you're supposed to know this from that.
And Gus is a huge issue. Like
way too big.
I'd argue that he's not even really a character in Better Call Saul.
No, he's not.
I'm not sure why I'm supposed to care. What's his motivation?
He's more like an NPC from GTA, and maybe it's like the subtle hint that like some of the characters in the that show up, like the new ones, they are like they look like GTA characters.
I mean, they hint it, right? His whole his relationship with Hector and whatnot, but they don't actually explain it. You're just supposed to know from Breaking Bad.
Yes.
And I'm not asking for like a flashback, like they need to show us that flashback again. I'm just like, you just Walter, put your dick away, Walter. I'm not having sex with you right now.
Walter. Put your what away, Walter.
Here's what's gonna happen. I love that he says that throughout the whole show.
Yes, like every scene where he starts at like, here's what's gonna happen, and Lalo has like, show me. It's like a death sentence to you.
Here's what you're gonna do.
Uh,
You're gonna take your socks off, and I'm gonna rub your feet. It's like, whoa, okay, Mike.
Going ahead of yourself, dude.
I should probably show you the timestamps of when they show Kim's feet.
I think like they started doing that in season 1 of Better Call Saul. Yeah. But yeah, Mike is great, but the Gus doesn't feel like a character. I would even say that like maybe it's because like this is like the prequel, but like Mike seems like way too positive.
That has to matter when you're building the relationship of Mike and Gus. But even Mike, I mean, as much as I like the actor, I'm just like, there are moments I think they dropped the ball with the writing on this.
Yeah.
Because do you remember that moment in season 3 of Breaking Bad? He talks to Walt for the first time, I think, or not the first time, but in regards to how they're going to deal with Jesse, because he's becoming a problem.
Yeah.
He tells him the story about how he used to be a cop and that there was this consistent guy that kept beating
the half measure.
Right. He took a half measure because he threatened him, and that was that, when he should have gone all the way and killed him.
That was one of his best scenes, by the way.
And I thought we were going to see that somewhat of just like the guy with no half measures, but they keep talking about it and they keep showing it as if he's still the guy that's doing half measures.
Yeah.
And
doesn't make sense.
I know it hurts me a little bit because I know even Breaking Bad has this issue of like he still, I mean, as Walt continues to be dumber and more explosive, if you will, and that's why he calls him the time bomb.
Yes.
And then, well, what would you know? Walt had an explosive rant, and then he goes and kills Mike. It's like, yeah. So I know there's issues within Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, but I just feel like Breaking Bad still made sense for the most part, and still was consistent.
It is consistent to the fact that like Mike is like a professional, and the story treats him like that as well.
Because he really had no other options, but I don't know. I feel like Better Call Saul somewhat hurts it a little bit. Not like it's completely unwatchable, but I remember people used to complain in Breaking Bad where, how did Gus know there was a bomb? Not that he knew, but like it's just weird that he suddenly has a pause and he's looking around and he's
chemical reaction.
Why is a chemical bomb? The gas.
The gas. Jesse, I'm the fart. Ugh.
Yo, Mr. White. Ugh.
This is haram.
Is this mustard gas? I don't know.
Mustard gas, yeah. The ricin.
When you say contamination, I'm thinking Ebola or something, man.
Season 5, like when they are like doing the pest control, they just got up before and all the time. And then this was the original vision of Vince Gilligan. Oh man.
But yeah, I don't know, that Mike and Gus stuff is oh yeah, Gus suddenly is paranoid in that parking lot and he doesn't go to his car. Now I understand that can be seen as an issue. I mean it's just like it doesn't really make sense, whatever. I feel like Better Call Saul amplifies that 10 times.
It does.
He just knows Nacho did something to Hector. He just knows where Lalo will be. He just sets up a gun.
He read the script.
Oh yeah, that was the script he was reading. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's always been my theory that he read the script.
How'd you know that? Oh, look, what's on the floor? Is that the script?
I
Wow.
see these are my lines. Can I read them?
Ooh,
I was just
I like to
acting,
fuck my cat.
or was I?
Dun
Um,
dun dun. But yeah, it's just it
you
feels like
unzip. You go to the bathroom and you touch yourself.
that's the kind of like norm that we live in. But it does feel like Better Call Saul is like played like a cartoon. Because sometimes I can hardly take these characters seriously. Like even okay, like we haven't talked about the Better Call Saul flashbacks. Like every season has to start with this black and white filter, and like Jimmy is hiding under her new alias, like Takovic or something like that.
Gene Takovic, yeah.
Gene Takovic, yeah, and the fact that like he's in like the middle of nowhere, Nebraska, and he bumps into several people that recognize him. Like that is just like all right. Why is he?
It makes me think, how does that guy's witness protection work? Like, how good is that if somebody
Oh,
from Albuquerque just stumbled
the
upon?
the superior.
Yeah,
Yeah, the guy. Yeah.
because
That
it always, I mean, not that I really cared that much, but even in the first season when I first saw it, I was like, it's weird that he's hiding out in public
yeah.
in a fucking Cinnabon, which is funny, by the way.
Yes. Like
Just
it was referenced in Breaking Bad, but at the same time, like it's it's hilarious.
I think it's hilarious. I mean, I had a problem when it first came out, but I was like, it's actually kind of funny.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I would say that it's more of like an issue that like he's in a small town, or maybe I think it's a small town, and they still have like people that like recognize him. That's just like kind of breaks my illusion.
Yeah, because like Walt had to be taken like in a fucking house in the woods.
New Hampshire, I
Yeah, New
believe.
Hampshire. And Jesse, I mean, it's like, well, he's in Alaska. I think he'll
Yeah,
be all right. Maybe. I mean, it's pretty
yeah,
isolated over there.
yeah.
Gene, it's like, I don't know.
No,
You're a public
he was
advertiser.
screwed from the very beginning. Also, the fact that like he like there was like one of the episodes like that was like only an intro to the season, is that like he gets stuck like near the trash bins,
Mhm.
and he decides to draw put a graffiti on there, like it's just like putting something like obnoxious there that like Saul Goodman was here,
SG was here, yeah.
SG was here. It's like really like that's the last thing you want to do there.
I don't know. I think it's
Yeah,
fine. I don't know.
it's fine, but it's just like
It's just
it's
made me
so
think.
drawn out. Yeah,
I don't know. It's weird. I've been back and forth on like whether all that makes any sense. I guess it doesn't matter because he got caught anyway. So,
he got caught anyway. But
which I did like, but it's just again, it has a lot of these interesting ideas that I like, but I just think the execution for it all just um could have been better or done differently.
yeah,
I don't know.
done well.
I've never really had that with Breaking Bad. Like that was never an issue. I think from beginning to end, it's
Yeah,
consistent, tightly written, and they didn't lose a director or the creator for a season.
half a season, half the show, like the Vince Gilligan was absent.
hmm
Yeah,
Oh, half the show.
yeah, because like after season 3, like he had to work on a different show with
hmm
Rhea Seahorn as well. Like she was the
Oh,
main character there as well. But then he only came back for like the season 6. So like season 4, 5, Like he wasn't there.
That's weird. What about that episode where they get stuck in the desert? That wasn't Vince, really?
That wasn't Vince, yeah.
Hmm.
I think like maybe he was there for like some of it, but like for the majority, no. Like it was mostly Peter Gold.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
but
interesting.
I did like this desert episode. That was good because he embraces some of the things that like Chuck was doing, but at the same time, it's like it was a fun episode, honestly, because like it's really pushed like Jim's character to the point. And like I do like those, but like he's finally has to do something that involves like both plots of the show because like there's like a separation and like it's very distinct, like those two plot lines, like they don't intervene with each other.
Yeah, and Breaking Bad never has that issue. I mean,
No,
they're
never.
completely
It's
one tone. I mean, yeah, there's side plots and whatnot, but that all will contrast or that would all culminate into what Walt's gonna do next and whatnot.
But even when like they send Jesse to Don Eladio and to cook for the cartel, like that's because like Walt pissed off Gus so much that like it's a humiliation towards Walter that like okay, I have this other guy that you forced into my business who apparently can make 96% good math, just
Mhm.
as you,
Yeah,
almost as good as you, and that's perfectly fine because now I can like do the scheme so I can get rid of the cartel.
get rid
So
of them, get rid of Walt because he's hoping to sway Jesse.
he
'Cause they
has
break
no
up
reason
after
to
that.
exist. Yeah,
It's like Walt's pretty much useless, and
yeah,
but then that plays into how Walt's gonna play Jesse and whatnot. So it
yes,
all
it
works.
all plays into it.
And with this, it's like Saul interacts with Nacho in the first season. First 3, 4 episodes, I think. I think 3 because the third one he got him out of jail, and then Nacho's
Yes,
like, "There's gonna be consequences."
it,
You never see them interact until season 5. What are we doing?
I have no idea. It's like Riot's forgot about it, but at the same time, like they had like so much money. Like it's so funny with these shows that like they barely had anything for Breaking Bad. Like they just made it, but for Better Call Saul, like they had all that, and they couldn't think of this.
It just
It
makes
also,
it also
yeah.
make. Sorry, you were saying?
I also felt like with like the Kim plot lines that like she's just jumping from attorney companies from another, and then Hamlin, and then back to like these Mesa Verde
Oh,
client.
yeah.
I felt like it just like didn't really connect. It was just like some side quest for Jimmy to get in. Like the whole thing when like he was like going to Mesa Verde to uh, get the owner to piss off. It was also like to make that stupid like prank video about his dad. That was just so
Yep.
silly. That was just like trolling. Yup. Yeah. But yeah,
Saw the
like, I'm
saw the
getting ahead of
coming.
myself.
But I don't know if anybody else has this issue, but it makes Better Call Saul makes the universe feel smaller.
Way smaller.
Whereas Breaking Bad, it's sort of implied that there's a bigger scope beyond Walt, but with Better Call Saul, it always feels like it has to go back to like when Nacho needs a hitman, it just happens to
Yes.
be Mike, and it's like when we need a lawyer, it just happens to be
Jimmy.
Saul. Like you tell me, there's no other scumbag lawyers out there. I don't know.
There has to be.
That whole Saul Goodman becoming a cartel lawyer. I don't know. I always question continuity when it comes to that stuff. I know prequels are they're hard to be consistent, I guess. But I don't know. I never got that hint in Breaking Bad that he was involved with the cartel at some point in his life.
Yeah,
Just
that I felt like it was shoved in.
I mean, that's a big moment. That leads to Howard dying. It's like,
Yeah, Howard was a great character though. Like by the by the time that we actually like understood like what he was standing for, I kind of felt sorry for him because like Jimmy could have just forgotten all of this, like left it behind himself.
right.
But like he was just like so adamant to just go on and just like do these like stupid prank. Like I didn't understand like why he was like throwing bowling balls at like Hamlin's front yard and like the car. It makes no sense with all the other things that like he was involved with. Like that was such a psychotic thing to do.
I mean, the most that made sense, and from what I've seen on the internet, is just basically like, I guess he's still dealing with his brother's death, and he's just
Yes.
projecting it onto Howard
Yes,
because
like
Howard was able
because
to.
how it was kind of like he was still carrying the spirit of his brother.
Yeah, and it didn't break him, and
It
he's
didn't break
clearly,
him bad.
yeah, it didn't break bad.
Yeah, it all comes back.
It- it's like poetry; it rhymes.
It's like poetry with rhymes.
It's just, but the problem with that's improper bowling technique. Howard,
Uh,
he had that same issue with Nacho, where he's just kind of like a side character, and it's like,
yeah,
I don't even know if I like ultimately of killing him, because I remember so many people were speculating of like, oh, he's not in Breaking Bad. It must be because they killed him. I'm like, I don't know. That seems like a far stretch. And then what would you know? They just fucking kill him
it killed him in like the most disrespectful way
because
possible.
Lalo needed Saul's help, I guess.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe couldn't believe what just happened. I was like,
yeah.
it is entertaining, but it was one of those moments where I'm like, really? Like it's just bad timing that all this happens.
It's the kind of timing that you have to need because like the guy was like going in tunnels trying to find out like what's behind like all those structures and it is so silly.
Yeah, and then he's like, he looks at a cucaracha, as he says, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna go talk to Saul.
Yeah,
It's like, it's the same time Howard's like, you know what, I'm gonna prove you guys you're phonies or whatever, and then, oh, look, what would you know, the two worlds collide.
yeah.
And I can't decide if this is like a meme or if they legitimately thought this was a good idea, but they basically mirrored Walt falling into the sand at the end of Ozymandias, or the beginning, I mean.
Yes, I noticed that too. And the other thing is that like when if you notice that when Howard dies, like he falls exactly like Chuck did in the printer shop.
Oh, good point. Yeah.
Yeah, like it is edited the same way as well. But like he stays down.
That thought never crossed my mind because I was like, oh my god, they're just trying to do Ozymandias, but it's a smaller scale, I guess.
A small scale, yeah.
And it's not Nazis.
It's not Nazis.
It's just it's a Mexican Nazi, you know.
Yeah. It's a psychotic Mexican. Ay, it's the guacamole.
Hey! I just want to talk, okay?
It's okay. I did like Lalo. Like he's a great character, but like it's just not this way.
Introduced way too late. That was bad.
I think like Thomas like realized that like this series is way too boring without Chuck.
Okay, Hawk. Okay. Well, no, he's true. Melvin, I haven't seen that guy for a while, but yeah, he was. Ooh.
Melvin, brother of the Joker. Melvin, brother of the Joker. Hello, I'm Melvin, brother of the Joker. You get it, like nostalgia crick, the reference.
Oh, I see. I see.
Yeah, it's like one of his like worst skits ever. That yeah, Lalo is introduced way too late into the show, and it kind of shows. And but like the entire thing about Lalo is that the whole thing that like okay, he realized that Nacho betrayed him. He isn't going after Nacho, even though he has the brains to track him down. Instead, like they send like the lowest scum after him,
Mhm.
and it didn't make any sense to me. Instead, he decides to like make a body double for him, who has the exact same dentures because we spent 10 minutes to establish that in that episode, and then he shaves him, makes him shave himself, and then he kills him with the knife, and then
Right.
he burns the body. It's like, uh, okay,
You don't even see any of this. You just it's off
we
screen.
don't see, and then he manages to get that body back to his mansion, but but he doesn't inform the twins. So I guess because to like make sure that like everyone is on the ball that okay, like Lalo is actually dead, but only Hector knows that like Lalo is alive.
Right. Yeah.
But by that time they tap the phone. It's like okay,
It would have been. Yeah. I don't know if that makes
because
sense. Like,
it's all because Lalo told Hector about that.
yeah, you
If he
think he
didn't
would.
call him to brag about it, like Gus wouldn't have figured it out.
I don't know. It's just one of those things. See, I don't know. That's what I mean. Like, I feel like when you watch it, it's fine. You know, you don't think about it. It's like, okay, this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens. But then when you
Yeah,
actually look at it and you think about, how does one action lead to another, that's when it starts to fall apart. That's why I was like
yeah.
earlier, like Gus just somehow knows that Lalo's gonna go to the underground lab, and he just puts a
And then
gun.
Lalo somehow knows that Gus knows that the underground lab is right there. So he knows that Gus knows that Gus knows that. Yeah.
And yeah, and Lalo just somehow, I mean, people are looking for Lalo, right? And so somehow he's able to go to Germany, find that one guy that worked with Warner, kills his, or no, cuts his foot off, gets information, and he somehow flies back to Albuquerque, New Mexico, without setting any alarm bells or whatnot.
Yeah.
I just, I don't know. I feel like whew, what you said was like it's almost like a cartoon.
It does. It feel like that. I did like that scene though. But like the funniest shit about that is that like he did go to Germany first to the widow, and
Yeah,
that he easily gets to know the widow,
right.
but
Yeah.
like he doesn't like go straight that like okay, like I need to kill this person as well. He just robs the place, and then he goes to Croatia to get that tall guy to
Mhm.
talk. It's like that is a very elaborate plan.
I know people complain about like when at the end when Walt is somehow able to invade all the law forces and whatnot. You're
Ah,
just like, what the
okay.
fuck? He turns into a like Batman almost.
Yes.
I just think they're just doing it just to tell the story and whatnot. But like those same issues are in Better Call Saul, but they're amplified to an absurd level. I think.
It is. Like I felt like
I know they need this stuff to happen. I know they want the showdown so that, but
yeah.
I just think it goes a little too far. I don't know.
I felt like in Breaking Bad, like it was like grounded in reality. Like they are like
For the
yeah,
most
as you
part,
just
yeah.
said, yeah, as you said that like they are just like way overboard. Like the fact like they are just buying that like Vault got the money from gambling. But then Hank isn't getting any suspicions from that, and he just sits down and like he sees the Walt Whitman book again
Yeah,
next to the toilet seat.
yeah, and that's a fair criticism, you know.
And it's just like I do love the series, but it is so silly. But at the same time, yeah, like Better Call Saul is like a cartoon. Like
I
a piece
just
of
figured,
shit.
I mean, not that they listen to all criticism, but you think they listen to some of it and just apply it to Better Call Saul, and it just like, what is the point of a flashback in season 4 where Saul Goodman is calling the vacuum repairman? Because
No reason.
if you don't know Breaking Bad, you don't understand what you're looking at.
Yeah, you can't really connect the two.
You're just like, oh, this is a random scene where he's just in his new office, and
Yeah,
that fat woman from Breaking Bad is there.
from season 2.
Yeah,
Yeah, because Francesca used to be like a much more like normal
Francesca,
person.
thanks.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's weird. What do you? I guess we can go to the finale. Like, what do you think about like the both shows, like how they handled it? Spoilers: I like Breaking Bad better.
Yeah, it's just when I watched Breaking Bad the first time, it was like, yeah, that was a pretty satisfying ending. I mean, things escalated, and Ozymandias. There's a reason why it's one of the best episodes out there that everybody loves and jerks off to or whatever,
Yeah,
including me, because it was the culmination of everything. It's just like, yeah, a character that you cared about dies, right?
I really liked the beginning of Ozymandias. I'm sorry to interrupt, but like
No.
it's so cool how they did the flashback to season 1,
Mm-hmm.
and like it really mirrors that like Vault had it like had it all. Like they had like a good relationship between Skyler himself. Like he was saying that like I'll be late, but like how about I get like a pizza? And like
Yeah.
the, he had it all, and it was all for nothing by the end of the show because he lost literally everything. Like his son despises him. He will never see his daughter, and the wife is I can't even say anything.
Traumatized beyond
Traumatized.
repair, I guess. Yeah.
Maybe she will be like supervised until the end of her life because like they might make a connection that like maybe there's something else behind this.
Yeah, and then a good man, his brother.
Yeah, that's totally acceptable.
Oh yeah, like I said,
We
Better
do
Call
think as
Saul
well.
is not a bad
It's like
show.
what we are trying to say is that like Better Call Saul, according to us, is like a slightly less good show than Breaking Bad itself. But like it's still like I would say like it's in my top 5 shows in the past few years.
Yeah, it's better than most slop that's out there. Most
Absolutely.
Disney slop that's out
Like
there.
the magic in Better Call Saul is that like it's really well thought out. Even though like I don't like it as much as Breaking Bad, it's just like amazing. Like compared to like the sea of like all these like streaming service shows, that is just really still shines through. And it's just like
Yeah.
giving like these classic like writing, well written stories. Is what I was trying to say. But yeah, wherever we the Ozymandias, yeah. Please continue. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good. No, like it's just what you were saying. It's like all of these, the culmination of everything, and the ending to that episode was also traumatic. Was just like she steals the baby, and it's like, oh my gosh, like
Yeah,
what is he thinking? And then of course that phone call, and he has to play up the Heisenberg even more just to let the cops know that Skyler was innocent for the most part.
yeah,
And then just I mean the next episode after that, I forget. I think it's Granite State. I think
yeah. It is.
it's just an episode of defeat. Like Jesse's a slave now. Walt
Yeah,
is just
he tries to
dying
escape
alone. Yeah, that
and he
was
gets punished.
That was hard.
That was really hard because Todd doesn't like look like he was like the kind of villain material,
Yeah.
but like I don't want to say, but like he kind of acts retarded in a way. But like it's like it's trying to like show his sociopathic nature, and which is like he's straight up psycho honestly, because like he's not like making up these personalities. He's just like this. He doesn't care about humans. Like if it's a child or adult, he's gotta do it anyway. And I think like there's a scene of that in El Camino as well. In short, I didn't like that movie that much. Like it had a few
Yeah.
good scenes, but like it just didn't feel like Breaking Bad. Felt kind of forced.
Because it's a epilogue. It's got to get Jesse to point to the finish line. That's it. That's all that.
We gotta get Jesse to Alaska. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think like the ending of Breaking Bad was kind of like completing that.
It could have just been a 1 hour special
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah, it could have been. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, then you get to that last episode and it's like, all right, Walt's got a new plan. He's gonna go out on top, and he makes resolutions for the most part with everyone.
Yeah,
that flashback of like, why don't you join on a ride along with me? Could be fun, and just yeah, no more family. I mean, he's alone now.
he is completely alone,
and he's able to somewhat redeem himself a little bit by being honest with Skylar and getting Jesse out of that fucking shithole. That even though he put him in there,
yeah,
and he dies like a man. Like
yeah, and he doesn't care about the money.
Yeah,
like he's just out for revenge. And,
yeah. I mean, everyone's gonna be. It was a big shit show, but hopefully now things can sort of start to repair itself, and Walt will get that money when he turns 18 or whatever. So
yeah, I did like the prank that he put on Gretchen and Elliot. Like I called the two best hitmans next west of the Mississippi or what?
Yeah, west of the Mississippi.
That was so good. And it was just laser pointers.
Yeah, it's just all along
like,
a lot of fun.
What's that? Badger and Skinny Pete. I feel like they are also like side characters, definitely. But I feel like they were doing that purpose way better than in Better Call Saul side characters, because they felt like they exactly served that purpose. And they were just trying to like make them like that what they are way more important,
Well, they're just comic relief, but they did inject a little bit of character, which is they were trying to get clean at some point, and then Jesse gets them hooked back on.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I do like Jesse. I am a Jesse fanboy. I know
Same.
he's
on my rewatch. I was like mostly rooting for him. That like, well, he needs to succeed, because like he's from all the characters, he probably has like the most humanity, but compared to Walter White.
Yeah. And I try not to be too much of a fanboy. Like I know he's a kind of a retard and he fucks up, and
he progressively gets smarter. Like the more he falls, the more he learns from that, and like he doesn't make the same mistakes, and that's why I like about him.
Yeah. Do you have thoughts on the final, or?
I really like the finale, like the final season. It's like this preparation and like this long. Like the first episode of season 5 is just like, okay, who is this guy at first? And then I realized that, hey, that's Bryan Cranston. Why does he look like that? Like it was so weird to see Walt with hair again. Because like at one point I thought like it's also like the cancer is playing like something on him, so he's gonna be permanently bald from now on. But yeah, I feel like it's the well-deserved ending to it. I can't think of a way it could have been better than this.
Right.
It is exactly how it should have been. like all the payoffs and like it's no loose ends. And he's like he feels like he realized like what he is, and he needs to make amends for his actions. And this is like how it turns out. And it really can't be better than this. Like I had so much fun. I think when I rewatched this, I watched the episode twice because it was just so good.
Oh yeah.
But like he because Walt uses his smarts. He poisons Lydia, but like he knows these things that like okay, like Lydia has these meetings on Tuesday, 10 a.m., always in the same cafe, and it's just so brilliant because like he's using all these things that like he learned throughout the season. So
Yeah.
it all comes together in a fine plot. But like Better Call Saul's finale is yeah, I think we discussed Lalo in the bag. Uh it's like Howard's is like I have no words. I feel like he's like
Yeah, it's like it's not as I don't know, it's not as impactful as
it's
Hank's
not as
death.
impactful. I just feel like it's like more showing that like Saul can go on and Kim has like the Jesse thing, that Kim is the Jesse of this series, and like
Oh, she is.
she just can't let go. She can't let go. That like oh we have crossed the line here.
Yeah.
I can't continue my practice like this.
Well, it was one of those when we got the next episode after Howard stuff, that's when I started feeling like, wow, I think this show's a little pretentious
It
because
is.
it's like they're trying to pay tribute almost. That opening, that slow motion opening,
Yeah, it is.
that montage of like, okay, they continue on with their lives, and Mike's cleaning up all the blood and whatnot. I was like, and it's really cool.
You're getting a new fridge.
It's really cool transitions and whatnot. It's
It
really good,
is.
well
It's
done
well edited.
montages. But I was like, I don't know. I don't feel like it was earned because, like I said, it's just bad timing. Howard and Lalo
Really
just
bad.
happen to meet up at the same time, and Lalo, just decides to murder him to show that he means business this time. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. And what for, honestly?
And it was just used as a distraction so that he could get so he could go to the lab because the guards would all be on Gus, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it was all centered around him.
yeah, it's like what you said. It almost feels like Saul Goodman's not really the main character.
He's a side character in his own show.
It's weird.
Like this poster is just a lie. It should have been like all of them are in the same distance, and yeah,
That's why that meme exists of like, I like this show, but who is this guy? I skipped all the boring legal seats.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like
All I know him from is that like he's in the desert and like dragging like a bag of 10 million.
yeah,
$7 million
yeah, something like
in
that.
$100 bills.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just, and like he never really becomes Saul Goodman. I mean, yeah, he sort of Saul Goodman in season 5.
he starts acting like that as well, but it
Which I
just
was
doesn't
excited.
work.
I was like, oh, finally, he's the character that I came to watch. But then you get a season 6, and it's more to do with Howard.
Yeah,
And then right when he's just about to become Saul Goodman, as you see in that at that end of that episode, it's like, oh, now we're back to the future after or post Breaking Bad,
yeah,
and he's
and
not Saul Goodman again.
and that is like the most pretentious part of it, because like the future is all in black and white, and I don't care about that. Like, oh well, because it's like Saul's life has become like so great that like the only color that like he can get from life is when he can look back in the past of like when he was still like Saul Goodman instead of Gene. And I like okay, like this is I get like this is an artsy thing. It's like he doesn't have like any color in his life anymore because like all his suits have been taken away from him.
Right.
But I'm just like I hate looking at black and white after seeing like 6 seasons in color. Like I think like 3 or 4 episodes are like that.
Yeah. I think it was a mistake that because I was waiting, I was like, oh, it's gonna come into color in this moment. It's gonna come into color in this moment, or like it would slowly, like there. I thought they would be cool and be like, there are like pieces that are like colored, and you start to slowly regain all the color back into the show. I thought it would do something like that.
Yeah,
but it never does.
Like, yeah,
no, I was like, oh.
Towards the ending, like maybe when he's like finally confesses about Chuck, even I thought that like maybe like the filter has been like pulled back on. Like they have like decreased like the effect of that thing, but it didn't really. It didn't look like that. So
no,
that was like a bad decision.
I think what the showrunner said, I don't know if this is true or not, but I could have sworn I saw a quote floating around where they said they just wanted to be consistent. And I was like,
consistent with being bad.
So that is so to talk about the ending of these shows, that is one of people's problems, is that I forget what that episode's called. Is it Nippy?
Nippy, yeah, because that was like the fake dog.
I remember when it first came out, everyone did not like it, or a lot of people were just disappointed, and I was like, I wasn't disappointed, but I'm just like, it was just more. I was only disappointed because it didn't come back to color. I was waiting for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, they pulled off a heist and it succeeded. Okay.
They succeeded, and like the old lady figures it out that like, hey, con man, Albuquerque, Saul Goodman.
That was funny for some reason to me.
Yeah.
I don't know, because like he said Ash Jeeves. I know that was a thing back then, and it's just funny because she used it, and wouldn't you know it? It's his downfall.
Yes. Yeah. It's so funny.
I did like the episode where he was like doing these cons with these two guys. Like,
yeah,
he really can't change no matter what alias he uses.
Yeah, Slippin' Jimmy all the way.
Well, how did you feel about that episode, Breaking Bad? Not the show, but the episode.
Oh, when there's a flashback, but that's finally in color, and we see like the same scene almost, where they finally have their introduction with each other. I felt like it was all right, but at the same time, I felt like it was just like trying to like use flashbacks way too much.
Remember,
because it's the one where remember the RV? Remember when we were bunkmates? Because I honestly believed in, like, even though on rewatch I didn't think about this, but like how long were they in bunkmates, like with the vacuum cleaner guy?
I did like that.
It was a good scene, yeah, but like I didn't remember that like he spent like a whole day in that basement.
The time frame is weird, but yeah, in Breaking Bad he did have this. He did say that he might have a bunkmate for a while.
Yeah,
so I'm just assuming it's one of those whiles or one of those days, I guess.
Yeah, I did like it that it was reflecting on the fact that Saul just doesn't like regret anything about his brother at that point.
That is one of the show's strongest points.
It is.
But again, it's just like, well, but because of Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
But basically when Walt's just like, so you were always like this.
Yes. I like that scene because like I got like more Walter White, but the thing that I didn't like about that scene, at the same time is that like
Yeah.
compared to like the one that we see in Breaking Bad in the same context, that like that's like yeah, but when the Saul says his goodbye to Walt, is that like that's like the scene that reflects that like Saul is like the more mature character, that like he lets go of these things because like he knows that it's over. But in Better Call Saul, like we see that like he's still desperate, that like he wants to be relevant even though
Right.
his situation. So it's like it's kind of
Well,
counterproductive. That's kind of what I was trying to go for.
I think that's fair.
Yeah,
I didn't really think about it like that because I just think it makes sense that like he's given up
it
and
makes sense if he
now
gives up, but like in Better Call Saul, he's just still trying to like get things done, like the same way, even though like he knows like he's in danger.
well that's my annoyance with the future scenes is like I feel like there's no good time frame that I
Yeah,
can follow. Like how long was it after Walt died, or how long has it been since Saul was on the run?
that's a
They never
good
really answered
question.
that.
Because I think like there's ways that like gives you a good frame on that are the scenes when I was just about to say it, when you hear it on the TV that like they have found Walter White's body.
Mhm.
I think it's in Better Call Saul. So yeah, you know like the time frame like when it happened, and the other thing is that like Saul mentions that like the Jesse Pinkman is still out there.
Yeah, yeah. And they're still tracking Francesca, I guess.
Yeah,
And I'm like, I don't know. It confused me because it goes back to that they were trying to pay off that season 4 flashback where like she's like, you got to meet me at this time in this place. I was like, oh,
yeah,
okay. But it's still after. It's still a long time after Breaking Bad, which I don't know how long. So I'm just like,
yeah.
I don't know. It's just one of those things where I'm like, I don't know if that makes sense.
It doesn't make any sense at all. Uh,
Um,
I just felt like it was just drama for the sake of drama, and to say something positive for about this finale of Better Call Saul is that I did like that Saul finally felt that like it's time to go straight and like stop running away. He decides to tell the truth, the whole truth about him, and like he made like a twist so he could save Kim from his from her court hearings with who's that, like Howard's ex-wife, but not ex-wife, but like widow, because like she made like a confession to
yeah,
her, but like that would have put her in danger. So like instead, like Saul, well, Jimmy decides to like take the blame for all of those things.
yeah, yeah. Which was kind of like me personally. I would have just loved if he just became a fucking asshole and just never changed.
It never changed after 7 years, and he's like get out and just continue on. But at the same
That would have
time,
been
like
funny,
okay,
but
like they try to like do this redemption thing with Jimmy's character as well. And I felt like he was trying to like make himself more important than like Walter White, which
Mhm.
is pretentious again. But at the same time, like okay, like
Walter
fine.
White could have never done it without me. It's like, yeah,
Yeah, speaks the guy that like got like gunpoint by Jesse.
the guy who said, "You know what, you and me are done," and then Walt's like, "We're done when I say we're done."
Yes, like it was clearly not in
It's like,
control.
okay,
Fine. I guess you're the funny guy. Yeah.
I get it. He's just putting on a show. You could say. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. But it's not even his show. But yeah, okay.
Well, he has to play an unsympathetic asshole, I guess, to the judge,
Yeah.
so that Kim can get off. So it's like, all right, whatever.
Yeah. I did like that prank that they have done Howard of it, like the very elaborate prank in the middle of season 6 with the judge and those photos, and like how he hired like a con man for Howard to call upon as help as a private investigator. So those were good. But
I did like the Kim episode, post Breaking Bad. Like that was nice.
yeah, that was really good. It's like when we got like a view into like that she actually managed to move on, unlike a certain someone.
um, it made sense too. Like like she would just move to Florida and then try to start somewhat
Yeah,
of a normal life. And I mean, the
yeah,
Jeffy stuff was just unnecessary. But I was like, I'll give him that. I do like
yeah.
those two, like because they are the same character in a way, which
They
is
are, yes.
they get involved with this guy, and leads them to the path of hell, and now they gotta climb their way out of it, sort of.
Yeah, it's just like Kim recognizes that like this is the time to go.
Yeah, yeah. And for Jesse, it's about to begin. It's like, oh shit.
About to begin. Yeah, it was cool that they got like the same actor, like the Nakayama. I think like that was his name.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, that guy never aged. Holy
He
shit.
never aged.
He was like, wow, he looked the
He
same.
looked exactly like from the pilot episode.
That's insane.
They had to like film that scene in like 21, I believe, because like 22 is when they premiered Better Call Saul, so they needed some time for production. Yeah, good stuff. Like that was a good scene, like to show like how incredibly unsympathetic Saul has become. That like, well, have a good life, Kim. And then he goes back to play on his phone.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And yeah, no, I just and it also adds to like, see, this is what I wish the show was. I wish it was after Breaking Bad. You could
Yes,
actually do something with that, and maybe he
I
could have
think
been
like
on
most
life in
people were thinking
prison.
that like that's what it's gonna be.
Could have, yeah, he could have had Saul in prison and how that would look like. But I don't know. I
Yeah,
guess it's just too risky, and it's more safer to just
yeah,
do and bring back all the same characters and whatnot.
yeah.
Like it was funny that like Saul interacted with the twins. It was like,
Yes,
yeah, I don't know how to feel about that. It's just funny.
it was like okay, like did these characters meet before? Let's have Saul Goodman meet with Gus first before Mike even
Gus.
does.
Yeah, Gus, and then because they were trying to redo that scene of like, oh, you don't know who it is.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it's the KFC of this universe. Yeah, I would say like in overall like this is a good show, Better Call Saul. It's fine,
Yeah,
but like it doesn't really have like the same spirit as like Breaking Bad. Like it's not as tightly written, paced, or it doesn't have like the overall message as much well as it doesn't hammer in the message as well as Breaking Bad. Because Breaking Bad by the end, like you clearly see that Walter White is the villain and
yeah,
everyone else is just like around him, and Mike is just prophesizing the whole thing, and nobody listens to him. And by the time like they could, like, it's all over. They can't do anything about it.
well, and I do think it goes back to the intention of when they created Breaking Bad. They really just wanted to showcase the simple message of guy turns into an asshole. And then Better Call Saul, I always feel like it was sort of what's the word, poison, maybe. Maybe it's a
Poison,
strong word, but
poison the well.
I feel like the intention solely was just, well, we like Bob and Kirk. We want to do more background stuff, and we just So they just did this show. It's a prequel show, and
Yeah.
it sort of repeats some of the same beats that Breaking Bad had.
Mm.
And I think, yeah, towards the end, they were able to just kind of craft their own vision for this show, but it's still like coasting off of Breaking Bad. And maybe that's a little mean to say, but I just feel like if you watch this on its own, usually, for the most part, for the 5 seasons or first 6.5 seasons, yeah, it's a great show. You don't really need Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Towards the end, it's just like, how do you not get confused like when you're
Yeah.
like, who's this bald guy? Who's this 40-year-old that's in like these gangster clothes? Who's this? Why am I supposed to care about Gus?
It's like it's such a weird watch order as well. Like, okay, like let's watch Better Call Saul until up to the final 3 or 4 episodes that you have in the season 6, and then go to Breaking Bad. It's a complete different tone shift.
And the main character's not even there for until like season 2. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not.
Hey, who's this
Makes no
bald
sense.
guy from that's a DEA agent? Who's that guy?
Yeah. Yeah, that's like a very small thing, but I felt like, because for Breaking Bad, Hank was my favorite character. I don't know, who was your favorite character?
Oh, Jesse. I mean,
Well, yeah, you did say
besides
Jesse.
Jesse, I guess.
Jesse is a close second for me. But yeah, like
I really did like
Hank,
Saul Goodman a second because like he's just comic
Saul
relief.
Goodman is better in Breaking Bad than in Saul Better Call Saul. But yeah, like the point I was trying to make is that Hank in Better Call Saul doesn't feel like Hank. It feels more like a caricature of Hank. Same for Gomez.
Well, that was the problem, is that it feels like he has to step back into season 1 into where he was kind of like that.
Yeah.
I guess you could say caricature. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird. It was just like like, to me, like, I know, suspension of disbelief, but to me, it was so obvious that like it's an older man trying to play back a younger role.
Yeah, and the other thing is that like they meet with Saul Goodman in the
Well, they have to
he's trying to
establish
like
that.
save like Crazy 8. But like when in like season 2 of Breaking Bad, it looks like this is the first time, because they talk about like, oh, I saw you in the commercials. So it's kind of like a retcon.
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't really have that issue. I was like, oh, maybe they met before. I don't know. This is a minor nitpick, but what I thought was a retcon was like Gomez's hair and goatee, because
Yeah.
in the first season he's clean shaven, he's got a lot of hair.
Yeah.
He almost looks like George Lopez in a way.
Maybe that was the intention.
But then later down the show, like season 4, he got kind of a haircut and he grew a goatee, and then Hank's like, where'd you get that hair or what? I like saw a picture of a dog's asshole and said, give me that or something. So
yeah.
I don't know.
I think it's because the actor has been like aging, so
Yeah.
I guess like that was their solution, or like
I don't know,
maybe he had like another role.
but it seems like a retcon because to me it was like that was the first time he grew a beard, maybe. But then you see him in Better Call Saul, and it's like, oh, he's got the goatee and
goatee already, even though that's like a final season thing.
But I mean, like I said, minor nitpick. It's whatever. I'm not.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Tuchel thing was annoying. This is. I thought Better Call Saul would find a way to like fix it, but they made it worse. They were like, "This is a guy who clearly traumatized Saul."
Yeah.
And then Breaking Bad, I never got that hint that he traumatized him.
No,
It's just like some
I,
tattooed speed freak.
yes, a tattoo speed freak.
Yeah, that guy that almost broke your fucking legs.
Yeah, it's like, but I guess like compared to Lalo, he's not that intimidating, but it's still.
I
It's,
mean, he's intimidated to Saul. I mean, what was he gonna do? He's gonna fight him?
oh no, he wasn't intimidating to Saul because like at that time of Better Call Saul, he was still Jimmy McGill, and when he turned into Saul Goodman, he forgot about those things. He forgot about Chuck McGill. It's silly.
Yeah, it is. I'm curious. What do you think about the whole Lalo thing?
As in, like
how
why he was introduced, or
well, in Breaking Bad, they had to they name drop Lalo and
Nacho as well.
yeah, Nacho, and I'm like, okay, I'm waiting for the show to explain all that.
Yeah.
I'm like,
it's all in those like one line that he says. Yeah. So, but like they already introduced like Nacho in the first episode of second episode of Better Call Saul. So,
but do you think it makes a lot of sense or
no? It was absolute. I guess like it was just like open ended, so they could like make up whatever they want in the writer's room, which wasn't very smart, but like they tried.
right?
It's just like because like when something happens to one character in Breaking Bad, it's like done in a way gracefully, and it's impactful. Like even if like it's just about the career of like Hank, it's done in a way that like okay, like we know like how this other character like Walter White's gonna handle it, that he's still like trying to like put up the facade that he cares and he wants to be supportive, but at the same time like he needs to like play like two teams because like at the same time Gus wants to kill him,
Right.
but he needs to like protect like both camps, but like for his interests. Because if it turns out that like he's still running this drug empire, like he's producing the drug itself, then like it's all over for him. So Lalo, he's definitely a positive character for this show, but he's
That was
like,
another thing too that I was just thinking about where I'm like, I never got the hint that the underground lab was a secret in Breaking Bad, and
yeah, it wasn't. I always thought like, okay, by that time, he would have been like open about it to Don Eladio because he was like making such progress, but at the same time, it's just
and that's a whole thing. He's got to keep that a secret, which makes sense.
Yeah,
but
because like he's still like only doing like services for the Salamancas.
Yeah, I don't know. There's this whole thing with the Salamancas that like I just don't understand anymore. Like, because I don't think they were really thinking about stuff like that. It was just kind of like background for the show.
Yeah.
You don't really get an insight, which is kind of my criticism with Breaking Bad, which is they don't really explain like the outside view of like Walt's drug. Like the most you get out of it is that Mexican band.
Yeah,
they're doing a little dance and they're singing about Walter White. You know,
the music video that was funny.
But that's all you get. There's nothing else really, which is fine because it's all about it's a interpersonal.
Do you think like it's like in universe, like that video clip of Heisenberg, like he Walt actually thought about like, okay, I'm gonna become like a musician. I'm gonna have this one-hit wonder, so the Cartel can see like how mysterious I am, and that's how they know like how he looks like, and that's how they made the drawing.
Well, I assume because then the twins somehow know what he looks like. So I'm like, that's that music video. That's why
I drew this up essay.
Top 5 in iTunes.
Yeah. I think like the best thing coming out from Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad is the Breaking Kitchen series on YouTube, where it's just like Hell's Kitchen edited into this like Breaking Bad universe shit. The guy is amazing. I don't know if you have seen those videos, but
Oh, it's funny. It's just
It's really good.
especially when Tuco's cooking.
Tuco's cooking, and then
Gus is cooking.
the twins come in and they like take away Gordon Ramsay.
I gotta rewatch all of it. That's what I loved about both these shows is the fucking memes that came out right
The
after.
memes and the community, like it was so fun.
I don't know how that all started, but once it did, it was so fun. And it sort of died down now, but man,
Yeah,
that oh god, those were times we lived in.
genuinely like entertaining things, because like there's so many like shows, like Netflix ones especially, where they are forcing down the memes. Like you can like
Yeah.
see like you search for a GIF and it pops up, but like it has the company logo on it, so it's not like organic. But
Right.
Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul has like this organic growth, and I think that's why it's gonna stand the test of time.
Yeah, is this like the most meme show ever?
Has to be, because there are like a dozen of people on TikTok and all those other places that haven't even watched the show, but they know about some moments like the Skylar White yo, that and the what's the other one? The Ozymandias reaction.
Right.
Yeah,
Breaking Bad if Skylar didn't exist. It's like
yeah, yeah.
which are the most funniest memes ever. It's just oh my god. Oh the
Yeah.
Better Call Saul stuff was just as funny. It just the fucking
It
Kim
just like
sex
it felt
lawyer.
like it didn't have that much material as much as Breaking Bad does, which
Well,
is funny because like Better Call Saul has more episodes, I believe.
does it? I
It
think it
has
just
six
has
seasons, but like all of
yeah,
them
that's
have
what
10 or 14. The last season has 14 episodes, I believe.
right. I was talking to somebody about the intentions of the memes because it feels like it was a genuine love for Breaking Bad. That's why those memes
Yeah.
exist. Whereas Better Call Saul, I mean, he kind of argued that like it seems like the memes were just despite Better Call Saul. I don't know if I
Yeah.
agree with that, but
I
is
think
funny.
that's a strange thing to say.
I don't know, but it is regardless of the intention, it's funny because
Yeah.
what's
Like the chicanery, I think that's like the most popular one.
just him fucking ranting for 3 minutes. Yeah, that's the best. Game. I don't know if you ever saw the was it Gaming Bad?
It is, yes.
And then they had a Gaming Saul video, and it's just Chuck going on a rant about him using Game Boost or something.
Yeah.
And Call of Duty.
Yeah, good times.
Can I also talk real quick about the cinematography?
Yeah, go ahead.
I really like both shows, but again, I feel like Breaking Bad cinematography, they did all those, like you said, wide shots, the POVs. I really like the
Yes.
POVs for some reason. I don't know. It works for me.
POV stuff was fine. I believe like they had maybe like the better directors at the time, because by the time that it reached Better Call Saul, like all of those talent have been taken away. So like you got like your standard like what's that, like a television series cinematography, and in
Yeah,
Breaking Bad you got the shaky cam, because like it was never like on. It was always like held on your shoulder or
handheld.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
something
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah, and
It could
I love
definitely feel
those.
that feeling.
I really love those time lapse shots because I know that must have been like God knows how many hours they just set a camera somewhere.
Days.
Yeah, yeah, and I remember
Especially the desert.
Better Call Saul. I don't know if Better Call Saul had as many, but I remember when Nacho was hiding, I was like, they had a time lapse shot. I was like, oh, I
Yeah.
think that's been a while
In
since
the
we've
tanker,
seen
you
that.
mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was so beautiful. It's really nice.
I was like, is this the only time lapse shot in Better Call Saul, or has there
Yeah,
been another one? I can't remember.
I believe so. Yeah,
Is there?
it is. Yeah. But yeah, it is like beautifully shot. Like season one of Breaking Bad has like a few like strange moments, but otherwise
Yeah,
like
a little
it's
amateurish, but
amateurish, or like they are like trying to like experiment with it. Like
mhm.
the a weird shot where Jesse is on the mat and he thinks that bikers are trying to like kill him
Oh
and throw
yeah,
a
that was
grenade, and
weird.
it's just like some missionary guys.
And I've heard people say like that's not what meth does. It doesn't make you
Yeah,
hallucinate like that.
well, like Vince, I think like they asked Vince, and like his answer was that like, well, he never used drugs before.
Well, does his research,
Yeah, he
because
does, but
he
like
has
he
this
has
thing
his
about
limits.
bullshit detector, which is he tries to make the show believable,
Yeah,
not realistic. You know,
yeah.
um, and so that, yeah, he did his research for all that. I guess Aaron Paul even watched people getting high on like heroin and shit, so that he could, you
Hmm.
know, figure out how to act when he gets on heroin. And then you
Yeah.
have that beautiful shot of like him floating, and it's because he was actually laying on some kind of contraption where it was lifting him up from that room just to get that shot. Because it was like that's not CGI, that's real.
That is real. That was a
Yeah,
practical effect. Yeah,
because you could even see the pillow deflate it, and then as it
yeah.
rises, it was like, how the fuck did they do that? And it's
I
like,
I,
oh, this is
I
how.
don't know, man. It worked so well. It was like I think like season 3 or 4 is when he has like so many of those scenes where Jesse's house turns into like a like Skid Row.
Yeah.
It's like a crack house. But yeah, it was fun. I really like those episodes, and like how it reflects that Jesse is really feeling like alone, and that like he's afraid, and that he just wants to close the entire world outside, because like he doesn't know like how much he has left, because he can't just die like Gail did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Gail's karaoke is like one of the best scenes in the series.
The lighting, the framing of all these shots, I just, it was like, yeah, this really is like high quality, I think.
Yeah.
And
Na,
then Better Call
na.
Saul, not to say it's not high quality, because clearly it is. I mean, there's even in season 3, there's even this one episode opener, and that's one take. It's just them
It
going to
is.
the border control, and
Yeah.
they're sniffing out the drugs. And
Yeah.
I was like, I was impressed because I'm pretty sure they had to coordinate all those actors and people and whatnot.
It is difficult because you can't even like hide the shot where it got cut. So
Yeah.
it's kind of difficult to do that.
So I mean, it's clearly there, but
It's
uh,
just all over the place because of the quality,
I just
and because of the focus is shifting
I would
so many
say
times.
I would say there are memorable moments in Breaking Bad. I
Yeah.
don't know if I can remember much in Better Call Saul,
Yeah, it should
other
have been
than
called
when
Better Call Vince Gilligan.
other than like the shot of him where his head is down and it's the bottom right corner.
Yeah,
I thought that was neat, but
that I think
um,
that was the ending of season 1 and the beginning of season 2.
yeah.
Yeah,
And I also think I don't know. So there's this camera quality too. When you get to like, I know in Breaking Bad it was shot in film, right? The first season,
yeah,
and then they sort of upgraded in the season 2 because you have that weird recap of season 1 and the color gradings like
yeah.
different for some reason. And Better Call Saul, it's like it's still the same cameras, but then when they go to season 5 and 6, it changed. Like the visual,
Yes,
the entirety, it just changed completely, and I think it looks ugly.
it does look ugly.
It's like they're trying to make a movie all of a sudden. It's weird. And like Kim Wexler, that actress is a very beautiful woman, and for some reason she looks weird
She
with those
looks
new cameras.
old.
She, yeah. I think it's almost like too detailed.
Yeah.
Because like when you see her in interviews, I'm like, oh, she's very beautiful, and then the show, I'm like, oh, I can sort of see the wrinkles and whatnot.
I especially like Howard and Chuck look like very wrinkled.
Bob Odenkirk's probably the worst because it's like
It is, yeah.
I'm supposed to buy that he's still young Jimmy McGill.
Young Jimmy McGill, but he looks like this all the time. You can't even see it, like how sharp those wrinkles are. Yeah,
Like at nighttime, yeah, it's fine, but it's just a daytime. It's like the colors are muted, which is weird because it's supposed to be
yeah,
a colorful show, right?
it is.
Mike looks like an old grandpa at that point.
Oh, the moment when wait, which season was it when they are in the desert? Season 5,
Yeah.
I think. Like there's the yeah, this. Oh, like especially this. All those spots on his body. He's so old. Like you can definitely see that he's like 74, I believe, in this scene or 5.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
This-
just like, I know he's getting older, but these cameras, these new cameras that they're
yeah.
using, I think it's digital cameras that they're using.
Yeah.
It's not helping.
Season 2.
Especially when they bring Hank back.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what the fuck? Yeah, see, it's just weird. I don't know.
Yeah, but like this is like when he was in Breaking Bad.
Mm-hmm.
I think like this was one of his introductions, yeah. Yeah, this was Hank from season 5. He looks he looks weird.
If you go to Better Call Saul, Hank, though, it's like, whoa.
Yeah, but this is Better Call Saul, Hank.
Is it?
It is season 5, yeah.
I feel like
But like then you
changed,
have the Breaking Bad one.
I think they changed the colors. I don't
They have like it's even a different
see, like,
camera as
you see
well.
that picture. Yeah, that one. No, the one below it. That one.
Yeah,
It's like, oh
yeah. That's they even added like a filter on it.
yeah, it's really weird when they bring back Breaking Bad characters and it's in this new filter and it's just weird. That's part of like why I was like, man, Jesse just looks like he's 40 because it's those cameras, man.
Yeah. Well, I think like we kind of got to the end of this discussion. I think like we can make like a verdict that Breaking Bad was the better show, but like what's that, like Better Call Saul is like only short because like it's almost got there, but it just didn't have those things that like really pull it together like Breaking Bad did.
Yeah, I will say those first 3 seasons of Better Call Saul were at least
Really good. I
yeah,
feel like they had it.
yeah, and it felt like it had its own identity, and I could, if they really wanted at the end turn him into Saul Goodman, okay.
Yeah.
It's just, but then they got to season 4, and when they killed Chuck off, it's, I don't know, it doesn't have that dynamic anymore.
No,
And he's
it
not a
really
lawyer.
misses that dynamic.
And then 5, 6, it's just like
4. We need to forget about 4.
I wish, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like Breaking Bad, it's always consistent from beginning to end, and
Yeah.
and really Walt and Jesse carry the show. Like their dynamic was really,
As main characters should.
yeah.
Yeah. It's wild. Like I really I can't name like any other TV show that like had like such a consistent like quality throughout the seasons, like Breaking Bad, because like you have like Game of Thrones, Walking Dead as well, and then what was the other show that like ran so long, but like by the end, like it was like nobody cared about it.
Mm,
I can't name it. Like, but like, there's no other like really like show like this where you get the ending like Breaking Bad, and you're like still satisfied by the end when you like get up from your chair, like
I
say
think
like, wow, that was a good show.
I think it's because it doesn't, the season 5, like they could have easily gone for 10 seasons, but they just cut it off right there. And Vince has talked
As they
about
should
how
have.
they
Yeah,
want to end on a high note,
yeah,
and
they did
that was a great way to end it. And
a really good way.
it almost feels like they sort of regretted it, because then here's Better Call Saul, and it's like they wanted to do more of that,
Well,
more.
yeah, but like if they wouldn't have stopped, then like you needed to do like a restart, like a fresh start, mind you, to like start with this like Better Call Saul, because like Better Call Saul is not Breaking Bad, and I appreciate that like they at least made that difference, the
Mhm.
differentiation between the two.
Oh,
Uh,
absolutely.
but then you have like that like what kind of show you wanted to do, and that like they didn't really focus on Saul Goodman. It
I
was
just
more
feel like,
about like a guy involved.
right, because they got to set up Breaking Bad stuff. I mean, the fact that they feel like they needed to explain the lab, I don't know.
Stupid.
Does that really matter? I like, I don't
No,
know.
in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter at all.
And I just think this show would have been better served if it was just right after. Just say he needed to fix his life again, or he wants to become a lawyer again. I don't know. Bullshit of some kind of way to continue on, perhaps. Or even Jesse, where it was like, well, they couldn't really do a show, so they just made a movie, and they
Yeah,
stretched it to 2 hours, because the only thing that you really need to get from that movie was just he ends up in Alaska.
yeah.
And that movie's weighed down with too much flashbacks as well, where it's like they brought back Todd, even though he's 260 pounds heavier
Yeah,
than.
I looked it up. Like, why did he get so much weight? And because he was doing a show at the time that he needed to gain a lot of weight. But nowadays he looks normal. But it's just so
Yeah,
stupid that like between those, like, he was like, Jesse was stuck there for half a year, right?
6 months. Yeah,
6 months, and like between those 6 months there was a point for Todd where he got like so much weight, like it's like what Christian Bale levels of like weight control.
his shirt is sticking out. I mean, he's fat. No
He's
offense.
really fat.
I
Like
mean,
it looks like he ate that cleaning lady or what.
he ate Brock.
Yeah,
Flat.
he ate Brock. No wonder Jesse is like so defeated. Yeah,
and,
Mexican
and
food,
it's
man.
But then I hear, so now that all of that stuff has ended, they went and did their own shows. I think Peter Gold and Vince Gilligan split off so that they could do their own shows,
Yeah.
and they did that show with Bob Odenkirk again. What was it, Lucky Hank or something?
Really?
Yeah, and it got canceled.
I do know that there was a Bryan Cranston show or maybe a movie that I'm not sure. I do know that like those actors and like those directors, they don't have like that much luck anymore. That like they had these things. It's kind of like lighting in a bottle. Like you can't really get that magic again, and it's understandably so. It's like there's so many things worked out. You can't get it again. The other thing is that like you would need to emulate that kind of time period as well, like the early 2000s. That
Right.
must have been like very challenging for the show.
Oh, maybe I was wrong. I don't know, but I know they were working on their own things, and I think it was that show you're talking about with Rhea Seahorn.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
just haven't released it yet.
really. Wow.
Not that from what I've seen.
Wow.
And now I think New Mexico, Albuquerque, has sort of become iconic in a way.
Yeah, since
I
Breaking
mean,
Bad.
yeah, I mean it is a beautiful landscape down there, and
Uh-huh.
everybody loves to go to the Walter White House in
Yeah,
Negro
I did
World.
hear that like the owner has been selling that place for a while now.
It's gone through a couple of owners, I think.
Yeah,
And they all have a bad reaction with tourists.
yeah. We want to throw the pizza, you know?
And it's like, well, because each of these characters have to run away or move somewhere else now. So then it's like, okay, what's the next state that they go to? I
Alaska.
okay, how do you make that show entertaining? I don't know.
Breaking Alaska. Like the other half of the show is gonna be centered around Russia.
Oh
And
no.
then finally they're gonna go to the Czech Republic and they're gonna bump into a certain substance of blue origin.
Oh. And Jesse has to break bad to save the day.
Yeah. And he will say the line, "Yes, science."
Yeah, science.
Yeah, I did like the progression in Breaking Bad that like he has the uh, leave a message line. Like every season has like a different line for that for his phone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because like season one, he's still like trying to be like this fake gangster thing, but by the last
3 to the 4 to
season,
the 6 to the 9, representing the ABQ. What up, biatch? Leave it
Biatch.
tone.
Yeah, but like in the final season, he has the most normal thing ever. Meanwhile,
Hey, for the
Walt has
thing.
like, "You have reached Walter White. Please leave your message after the beep." Yeah.
And how many times has Walter said Jesse?
Jesse!
Jesse?
He has like a very loud Jesse in the season 5, and Jesse doesn't want to cook with him.
There's like a huge compilation of him just saying.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't see Saul Goodman, yelling Mike or whoever.
There's just like it's just like talking about these things. Like there are so many more like memorable scenes of Breaking Bad than Better Call Saul. Like Better Call Saul is fun, but like it's not as fun as Breaking Bad.
Well, there's even more memorable Saul moments in that show than in his own show.
Yes, like I especially like there's the video on YouTube that Breaking Bad is a sitcom. It's the one where Walt visits Skyler's workplace, and then he gets abducted by Mike, and then like Saul says the line about like my dad fucked my second wife. And then,
the world's
like,
a cruel place, Walt.
Walt jumps on him, and then canned laughter. That was just perfect editing. Yeah,
I mean, shit. Even when Ted like ran off and slipped on the carpet, I mean, that was more
that was
Jimmy
hilarious
than
and creepy at the same time. Because
yeah,
they
so made
real.
It funny, but it's a dark moment.
It looks so real, and
I was like, that was more Slippin' Jimmy than Slippin' Jimmy in his own show.
Damn, yeah. But like a scene where Skyler visits Ted, like that, there's just like this genuine fear in like Ted's eyes. That like, please, Skyler, I have children. Don't do anything to them.
Yeah, the show has it's funny. They never got Bill Burr for Better Call Saul.
Yeah, because of like mismanagement. Yeah, so that's why the GTA character makes a return.
Yeah, I was waiting for that team up again, but they never did.
Yeah, yeah. They only mention him by name.
Well, to be fair, I guess he lost all his hair now, and
Yeah, he did.
I
So
guess
it,
he
it, it wouldn't make sense. Like he would need to wear a beanie like Tim Pool
or a wig or a wig. I don't know. But
wig. Yeah, they do make like amazing wigs. Like there were several of those Breaking Bad flashbacks where Walt is going to the house for the first time with a pregnant Skyler, and that's a wig that's
oh, is it?
Bryan Cranston is wearing, and
Oh, I guess
Vince
that makes
Gilligan,
sense because he
because
shaved it.
Bob Odenkirk was asking about it. Is that like Brian's hair or is that a wig? And Vince said like, well, that's a wig, my friend, and it cost me $5,000. And they said like 5,000.
I wonder how much the bald cap costs.
I think less, and they managed to like
Oh,
use like special effects on that as well.
so that's
Because
why it looked like shit.
in El Camino, they said like, well, we can't put the ball cap on Brian, but like because he's doing a movie at the time, that he couldn't shave his hair off for that, and it looks like he looks like Megamind. A big brain time, Jesse.
His head even like bends like as if it's
Yeah, it does. He's using his full potential.
But supposedly Better Call Saul, it was the same, or maybe it was a different bald cap.
I
Again.
guess so.
But it didn't look fake, at least.
I think
you
looked
can
like
tell,
Walter
but-
White. Yeah, it definitely looked bigger than it should be. Well, that was an interesting stream we did. I mean, I would like keep on going, but like it's like 2 a.m. here, so
Oh,
I
is it?
gotta
Yikes.
go.
Yeah, some rest, man.
But yeah, thank you very much, Eric, for coming on for the show. I'm
thank you
really
for
glad
having
we
me.
finally got to do this.
Same, yeah. It's always a fun discussion, no matter how many times you have it, because it's just endless.
Maybe next time we can do another Red Dead Redemption stream with Hawk.
I would like to talk about it again. I gotta
Yeah.
go through. It's just time. I had so much time during the lockdown. Now I'm working and all this other shit. It's like,
Yeah, same.
I can't enjoy Red Dead 24/7 like before.
24/7 Red Dead. Yeah. I think like they released it from PC, like both games now, like both like Red Dead 1 and 2. And
Yeah, they are releasing it on PC. I forgot about that. Yeah,
and you
I
can
can't
even
wait.
play it on Dead Redemption 2.
The mods are gonna be
Nightmare,
interesting.
Undead Nightmare. Yeah.
Fix up some of the continuity issues.
Yeah. Finally, we can make the mod for Red Dead 2 to have zombies.
We should, because that was such bullshit. Like,
That was it. Yeah, I think like they dropped the ball when they introduced like Red Dead 2 online or what? Red Dead Online.
yeah.
That was shit. But yeah, I thank you everyone for coming on to the stream, and we will be doing more of these when the time is right. And I hope you enjoyed yourself and have a nice evening.